It tried to send a note after I switched it over. All right, here we go. Now then, we should be able to hear the proper sound. There we go. That's not too loud, is it? Is that good? You rang? Hey, Echo. Alright, we'll give this intro another go. We've got days and days left in this game. I feel like I'm never going to finish it. It's good on your end. Awesome. As long as you think it's good, I'll say it's good. But yeah, we've got days and days left on this. Oh my god, we're only like day 3 or day 4. I don't even remember where we left off. Where did we leave off? Oh man. Okay. Let's get this intro going. Oh my, Echo, wow. Shorty, I understand that. It's midnight there. Yeah, let's see. What time is it? It is 5:18 here. Thank you for being here. I really appreciate it. But we'll be back on Friday morning. So if you're able to jump in and chat or whatever, we'll see you then. Hopefully, well, it'll be super late where you are on Thursday when I do GodCon. But if you're up, hop in and say hello. To this is super good. I think the audio is still a little bit loud. Hang on a sec. That might be a little better. Yeah, I just noticed it. I mean, they went full movie on this, you know? They tried to do the whole credits and everything in the opening. Tim Curry, Mark Hamill, Leah Remini, Virginia Capers, Michael Dorn, Leilani Jones. Leilani Jones is the voodoo lady, I think it was. Rocky Carroll. You were thinking of Stash when you took that pic at your folks' cat earlier today? Her expression screams Stash. He's a pretty cat. He'll definitely be in, and it's going to be cool. Thank you. Thank you, Shorty. And like I said, if you're awake. And Disney. Oh, Lord. Crimson Tide, great actor. Really? Oh. Well, let's see how this goes. This is a Windows edition. You can make it full screen, I assume. For kicks and grins, we'll play with it. But yeah, this was at a time when Sierra was kind of tinkering with the idea of games moving into the Windows space. I'm not in day one. Why is it giving me that? Let's see. Not sure what's next. That would be the last thing I saved. So let's see. Yeah, sometimes, in this case, it's not going to do it, but sometimes it'll actually maximize and do full screen. But in this version, it doesn't. It's literally just a windowed mode for some reason. I could do it with Space Quest 6. And of course, this will work in DOS as well. But is it very loud? Or... Oh, sorry. Yeah, hang on a second. I knew that was a setting. That's the rolling. Let's back that down just a smidge. That should be much better. What do you think? Let's see how he does in the dialogue department. Better. Let's balance some audio real quick.
So, how is the museum business?
Those who truly seek understanding are few, Mr. Knight. But even one can be an audience.
Yep, sounds about like my shop.
All right.
Could I ask you some more questions?
Of course. I also find our dialogue
Stimulating. I swear that sounds more like Worf than this character. The music is still loud. Got an idea. Hang on a second. I'm going to make the music a little bit loud. I'm just going to adjust it here. And is the music better? It shouldn't be that loud now.
So, how is the museum business?
Those who truly seek understanding are few, Mr. Knight. But even one can be
Perfect.
an audience.
Yep, sounds about like my shop.
All right. Yeah, so to give you a little insight on the way this is set up, I have MIDI coming into a MIDI input for this PC, so it's balanced. I hear it differently than you do, unfortunately. So I'm kind of watching VU meters and getting the setting to what fits. But not every game plays through the same way, especially digital audio. So this is outputting digital audio like Redbook audio, as well as character voices and other sound effects are coming through digital audio input on the sound device, and then MIDI's coming through MIDI output, actually. So it's getting a little bit it's a little complicated sometimes to balance that, but it seems balanced now. If you find it's hard to hear or anything, just let me know. But the music is kind of low for me, which is fine. I can live with that. All right, let's ask this.
Could I ask you some more
Ring-a-ding-ding, baby.
Of course.
An early man.
Find our dialogue.
How you doing, Epic? Good to see you, Mickey. Good to see you. So we're just now getting it set up. I was rebalancing some audio, tinkering with some other stuff earlier this week. Potentially new game for Friday. That kind of thing. Let's see. Let's just maximize that. Get it over with. Potential new game. And that messed up all the audio settings, so... well, at least for this game, anyway.
What can you tell me about
Historical voodoo? Or the voodoo currently practiced in the city?
Rage, thank you for the 20 bits.
So, you know
Aloha,
nothing
buddy,
about the
cheer
voodoo
20.
murders case?
I neither know nor care.
Grody, man.
My only possible interest is in how it might affect the public's attitude towards the museum. So far, it has not been an issue. No one has even had the bad taste to bring it up. Until you, that is.
Until you.
Do you have anything else to say about New Orleans?
I have already given you my opinion, Mr. Knight.
So for some reason, I feel like he gave me different dialogue with Voodoo Murders.
So,
I neither know nor care to know. So far,
Okay, I have. He's given me all he's got.
I'd really like to know more about you.
there is...
Okay, so we've done
What
that.
else can you do?
I am...
You're...
I-
Tell me,
You have...
are you... Okay.
So I should show him this animal
know-
mask. See what he says.
I believe they have something to do with Haitian voodoo, but that is not really my area.
Do you know anything about black voodoo?
That sort of viewpoint makes my work very difficult.
20%
Mr.
shinier? I
I'm
feel
not
kind of
implying
insulted.
all voodoo is evil, but there are certain practitioners that use voodoo towards
A darker end, aren't there?
No one that I am familiar with. If there are one or two ignorant believers, that is none of my concern. And I do not care to promote a Hollywood interpretation of voodoo by discussing it.
Wow, that seemed to have offended him.
You really don't know anything about black voodoo practices?
I believe I already indicated my intolerance for that line of inquiry.
Yeah, he doesn't like that at all.
Have you ever heard of a Schottenjäger?
No, I have not.
He needs to go to a bar more often, huh?
Tell me about yourself.
What more can I tell you?
All right, we've
Then-
already gone through that.
Tell me,
I've given...
tell me,
You have
are you,
quite...
is there,
Okay.
Voodoo is of interest to those who study rural folk traditions, but it will not aid you in understanding true voodoo.
Right. I am going to fix one thing. I learned something thanks to a Lands of Lore issue I was having. Hang on a second. I'm going to exit. I'm going to see if I can fix the crackling in the audio. I wonder... Oops. I wonder if it's tied to... Why does it say set up and install? I don't want to uninstall. Might just be set up. All right. Searching for Sierra products. Of course, the first thing it does is hits the floppy drive. Okay, let's see if we can continue. You know what? I don't want to do that. Hang on a second. Let's see. I should be able to just set it up from the folder. Looks like it's actually here. Oh, it is going to take me to this. Well, crap. I guess I have to go this route. I could do something different. Hang on a second. Let's see. What drivers do they have listed? So... So there's our actual settings file. And it looks like, I think we're pretty much stuck with the driver we're using. Wait a minute, where is it sticking those Sierra JK Win? What? Oh man, is it actually pulling them from the resources map? Are you serious? No. Wait. E. System test result. Yep, computer is on. It really is. So it looks like that's what I'm stuck with. Is that particular driver. But what's weird is oh, I see. This is what I'm looking for. Man, they did this weird. I did not expect to see it this way. Okay. I'm going to try something here. Oh, I see what it's doing. It's actually automatically selecting the driver. What I wanted to consider trying was this SB Pro. But I guess I'm not going to be able to do that. I'm not going to be able to do that. Oh, well. It was worth a shot. I'm not going to mess with it. Also, weird ass switch your Twitch to German? What in the... Why? Why did it do that? That's kind of messed up. Alright. Sorry for that little weird sidetrack there. Let's see if you can tell me a little bit about this. What is this? A lump of clay. Much like... Again? I didn't change anything. Why? Oh, I know why. There we go. Free needles. I'm right here. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? I don't know what it was. Sierra just acting weird. Even though the audio level was set to a certain point, it just went to full blast anyway, so whatever, right? How you doing, Needles?
Does this mean anything to you?
I cannot say that it does.
It means that you need to get that big pile of dirt out of my store. Doing good. Getting ready for a family movie day. What movie are you going to see? Hey, how's it going, Cirrus? Good to see you.
What do you think of my crocodile mask?
Nice. He likes my crocodile mask. He thinks it's nice. Put on Hollywood chainsaw hookers. What?
Gabriel doesn't want to put the mask on until he has to.
Why not? That'd be the first thing I would have done if I went and bought a alligator mask. Like, I just spent $100 on this thing. Can I put it on now? It's a real movie. Oh, I believe it's a real movie. Hollywood chainsaw hookers, free needles. You just see something on cheap movie day each week, but this week is Guardians of the Galaxy 3. None of us are Marvel fans, though. Hey, there's... You know what? Back when I used to work... Well, Coffee and I used to work in movie theaters back in the mid to late 90s. Actually, huh? Yeah, when we started dating. I worked in movie theaters from the early 90s till, like, just past the mid 90s. We saw everything. We saw the crap. We saw the good stuff. It was just, you know, it didn't matter. You have to go in with the right frame of mind when you go into movies you don't really want to see. Or think you're going to be all that great.
Wolfgang with his phone number.
Ah.
Somewhere there's a New Orleans phone book missing one of its C pages. The letter is addressed to Heinz Ritter, Gabriel's grandpa. It's the shed skin from Moonbeam's snake.
Oh. I don't know if we've shown him this.
Dr. John didn't seem too thrilled with those symbols the first time he saw them.
Oh, that's bad. Okay. Now let's see.
Thanks a lot. Bye now.
Bye now.
Walk carefully out there, Mr. Knight.
That almost sounds like a threat. Okay. Not sure where to go next. How about we go to... Gone there already. How about we go to the Napoleon House? You love the music from the map. All of it's good. I think the entire soundtrack is fantastic. One thing weird is that every store you walk into is sitting in the window as some dude playing drums.
Gabriel doesn't want to.
Does this mean anything to you?
It means get out of here.
Now beat it.
Now beat it.
Does this mean anything to you?
Hey, watch it. You wear that in here, people are liable to stop drinking.
Stop. They might start. Wait, no, they might stop. They're like, oh my God, he's turning into an alligator. I think I should cut myself off. Gabriel does not know how to make popcorn. He just hits the button on the microwave. I mean, that's what I do. I forgot how to make popcorn a long time ago.
Does this mean anything to you?
Not really.
Not really.
Does this mean anything?
Yeah, get away from me with that, will you?
All right, whatever. How about we slop some clay down on this guy?
Sam, you're just about the worst chess player I have.
Shut up, Marcus.
Does this mean
Not really.
Does this mean?
Can't say that it.
Hey, Steel Rose. Good to see you, Dick Danza. By the way, it's...
No. Now beat it.
Now beat it. Hopefully the button doesn't burn the popcorn like yours used to. Well, you're supposed to stop it before it actually finishes. That's the trick to popping popcorn in the microwave. You have to know when to stop the microwave. I have gotten lucky only once in my life and managed to pop an entire bag of popcorn and only have like 3 or 4 little kernels left that weren't popped.
Come on. Shut up.
I'll say, why are you not letting me open the door? Auto timer. It should be an auto timer. Does this mean anything to you? Oh my God, epic. Oh, wait. St. Louis. Hey, let's go there anyway. I have no freaking clue what I'm doing next. I have a couple of new items. I've made a couple of phone calls. I still don't know what the heck I'm doing here. Let's see, maybe the caretaker knows something about this mask?
Could I have a minute of your time?
Yeah? What can I do for you?
Does this mean anything to you?
Nope.
Nope. Yeah, I've been watching, well, I take that back. I've been trying not to watch Mike play this. And the reason for that is because I don't want to spoil too much for myself. But I have noticed that he's quite a bit further ahead on this than I am. But I also keep skipping days on this. Is he enjoying it? I haven't interacted with him on it only because I'm playing it myself and it's my first time through. But is he enjoying it? I hope he's enjoying it. Maybe he can tell me what this is.
Does this mean anything to you?
Sure. I see them marks all the time on tubes. Don't know what they mean, though.
And you just bought it from your brother for his brother for his birthday? You like to exchange point and click adventures. That's a good thing. He just doesn't take good notes, so he has to go to everyone to get new information. Yeah, I've been kind of slacking on that myself. I'm usually better with that, but not this time. This game is the one who's very long. Is this game a pretty long game? I mean, it's got 7 or 8 days or something like that are different chapters, I guess.
This is the
Let's see. Oh, wait, what was this?
small bottle is labeled Master Gambling.
Oh, man, I missed an opportunity. Hang on. Oh, now I gotta wait for him to leave the scene. The straight playthrough, now commentary, is 6 hours and 30 minutes. It's certainly not short, but I'm also fumbling my way through it. Oh, straight playthrough, no commentary. Gotcha. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm literally dragging through it. I'm not playing this very quickly. In fact, in some ways, I'm ready for it to end. So there's a dude here gambling. Let's see. I'm going to say that Saw Internet Historian do a video on this before you had the chance to play it. I found it quite amusing. It makes you want to play the game, play the other two in the series. Ooh. Rev Brown, how you doing? Gambling oil. Okay, so we have a gambler and gambling oil. These guys get along quite well, don't they?
Let me see that.
This is the powerful voodoo oil.
Go on. Really?
This voodoo oil could make a nun get lucky. Ooh. Ever wonder why Marcus wins every time? It might make a good salad dressing. Yeah, there you go.
Don't you ever wonder why Marcus wins every time?
Marcus, using voodoo. That old bastard.
Pitiful, isn't it?
Let me see that bottle. Oh, this looks authentic.
Oh, it is.
If I could really beat that bastard. Stonewall, give me a Pim's cup, would you?
Now, Pim's cup.
Coming up, Sam.
Genuine
How much you think I
glass.
to put in here?
Careful. You don't want to overdo it. Too much luck can be dangerous.
There's no such thing as too much. Now stand back. Come on already. I'm ready to checkmate. We'll see about that, Mr. Schmutty Big Mouth. Checkmate! Checkmate, you bastard! Son of a bitch. 20 years I've been waiting to say that. Checkmate, checkmate, checkmate! You are the biggest butthead Sam Singleton that I ever met.
20 years the guy's been kicking his butt. Let him celebrate.
You can just put this chessboard where the sun don't shine. Hallelujah, I did it. Yippee.
Nice game.
Nice game. Hell, I was brilliant. Of course, I gotta give some of the credit to that oil of yours. I've been losing to that guy for 20 years. If you ever need a favor, you come to Sam, you hear?
Will do.
I gave Sam some good luck voodoo oil. That's what, Godappy. What a sore loser. I mean, seriously, the guy's been kicking his butt for 20 years. The guy won. This other guy wins once in 20 years. Let him celebrate. I mean, seriously. Oh, look, mail. Inside, time-sensitive information. In other words, they want to sell me something, huh? Don't you love it? Let's see what the time-sensitive information is. The supposed time-sensitive information. Now, there's time-sensitive right there. It's mystic. Ah, yes. Liberty Bibberty, yep. Selling me insurance, I see. Of course. Very time-sensitive. You never played Sins of the Forefathers before? How's it going, Michael? Yeah, I never played this either. So Tuesday nights, if you're new to the channel, Tuesday nights we're doing stuff, usually Sierra and LucasArts adventure games or other games. For example, the next on the list is going to actually be Dark Forces 2 Jedi Knight. Switching back and forth from Sierra to Lucas and back to Sierra after that. So that one will be a welcome. That one will be truly a welcome game to play because I'm familiar with it. I played through it before, and it's not quite as challenging in the brain department. Let's see. What else can I just talk to this guy? Now that he should actually talk to me, huh? Let's see what he says.
So, how do you feel now?
Couldn't be better.
But after 20 years of playing chess with that guy, he's going to be really bored, huh?
Can I ask you some questions now?
Look, I'd be glad to help you out, but I've been stuck in this bot too long to know much about anything.
So
Can I ask you some...
Look, I'd be...
So he's got nothing for me now. I don't understand. Why did I give him the gambling oil? What's the point?
Does this mean...
Not really.
He's going to tell me nothing? Maybe I'm supposed to pick this up?
Napoleon House is what... That tabletop has an... There is...
I feel cheated.
That doesn't work. That doesn't... Gabriel. That doesn't... Gabriel. There is nothing...
The conversation I had with him about with the bartender about him is significant.
Hi, how's it going?
Has gone.
It's been worse.
Could I ask you a few questions?
Sure. I'm not too busy at the moment.
Okay, so I might have to go back
Can
and
you
listen
tell
to
me
the
about your
conversation
regulars in here?
That's about all I can say about this crowd.
about this crowd. Of course. Okay.
Do you know...
Black voodoo? Nah. I prefer not to think about that kind of stuff personally. Crime, perversion, weirdos. Just makes me depressed.
All right, let's listen to the recording that talks about him then. Oh, wrong one. What's the bartender? Oh, bartender.
What can you tell me about your regulars in here?
This crowd, the ones you see, are mostly regulars. That guy and girl in the corner come here. In other words,
What can you tell me about your regular...
see those old guys at the chess table? That's Sam and Marcus. They played every day for 20 years. Sam, the one with the purple jacket, he's lost every one of those games. It's not that he's a bad player. I've seen him beat guys twice as good as Marcus. But Marcus has Sam so psyched out, he loses his nerve every time. Either way, Sam, the chess player, he's into that voodoo stuff. He's always talking about spells and gree-gree and stuff.
Really? Thanks. What can you tell me about your regular...
Okay. So that actually does kind of make sense. You played Dark Forces recently and learned if you had the CD and the drive, there are between level cutscenes. Your mind was blown. If you're talking about the second Dark Forces, the Jedi Knight one, those FMV sequences are what make that one fantastic to me. They are cheesy but awesome at the same time. You don't think Gabe is legally allowed to record the dialogues without their knowledge? I wonder. I don't know. I know that tends to be something that is different from area to area, at least in the U.S. So he's into voodoo, huh? So maybe he can tell us something about this?
Does this mean...
Not...
Not really. Okay, so not that. Let's see. What about the clay?
Does this mean...
Not really.
And I think I asked him about the...
Those
That's
two
not what I
objects-
wanted you to do. I regret to inform you that you had got bunny-eared. Yeah, I kind of get used to it after a while. My condolences.
Not...
The crocodile mask would...
So...
This...
That's pomade. Oh, wait.
Does this mean...
Not really.
So he's not telling me anything.
This is the
I thought there was more conversation about Sam. No, that was it. That was all that was recorded. Go back to it again.
So what has Sam told you about voodoo?
Oh, there is more. There it is. Hey, Logic, how you doing? All right, sweet.
Well, about 50 years ago, Sam was too shy to talk to this pretty girl he was in love with. He went to a voodoo inn and had her make him a love charm. It was a little pouch that he had to bury under the girl's front porch. Well, he buried the pouch, and the next day, he went up and talked to the girl. And, sure enough, she didn't reject him.
Of course not. I forgot about this
Now she's his
conversation.
wife.
Poor guy.
Poor guy.
So what has Sam told you about voodoo?
Voodoo.
That's about all I can remember.
All right, so that looked like that's it.
Tell me about the street musicians.
I like music as much as the next guy, but they get pretty monotonous sometimes. Like that drummer right outside. They say there's been a drummer outside Napoleon House since the day it opened. I like drums, but this character really gets on. It sounds like the same thing over and over. I just want to say,
Sounds like my life. Tell me about the street.
don't know what else it could.
Tell me about the street.
Don't know what else it could.
Yeah, and I tell you what, I'm not too worried. I do have hints on for on purpose. I have been taking my time through this game to a point where
this is the first.
I could use it. Hey, how's it going, Two Ticks? You know a woman on Melee Island who can tell you a thing or two about voodoo. Ramen? I don't like ramen. I like ramen, especially the chicken ramen, the beef ramen. That's good. How you doing there, Nukem? I don't know what ramen is. I think it. I'm not even sure why it held that. What is ramen? How you doing, Nukem? Let's see.
There's no reason to make a clear impression of that.
Oh, okay. I get it now. Let's see. Hey, the beer is gone. There was a beer bottle there. Okay. I think we've gone through all of this. There's Grandmother Knight's house, Tulane. Have we been to the university? I don't know if we've been to Tulane yet. Oh, we have. Yeah, that's right. We went and talked to this guy. Just arrived, and I already know one item you're missing. A true Ken Williams doozy, too. Winter Slice. This game hates me. I'm probably missing quite a few things, to be honest. Let's go to the Moonbeam residence, see if she can tell me anything about the scribblings and
Mr. Knight,
the mask
how
I
nice
picked
to
up.
see you.
My pleasure, I'm sure.
Please, be seated.
You're available, thank you. Tinkering on your laptop after starting it up after 2 years. Jeez.
Gabriel,
Can you tell me anything more about this code?
Oh, that's right. I had her go over that already.
I gave you my translation. If it doesn't make sense, it's not my fault.
It's not my fault. Of course not.
this is the last.
Does this mean anything to you?
Yes, but we don't use those anymore.
This is the
You got your mouse cursor in your... That's pretty funny. She reminds you of that Frank Zappa song, Cosmic Debris. I thought you were going to say Valley Girl. Because, well, aside from the accent, she kind of sounds a little like Moon Unit. I guess. Oh, well.
Open your mind and heart, and the way will be clear to you.
I should probably
it
have
one
asked her
last
some more
shot.
questions and see if there was anything new in the dialogue. Since it's a new day, I haven't talked to her yet. Let's do that again, because I missed something. Or at least, I bet I
Mr.
missed
Knight.
something.
How nice to see you.
My
Please,
Be seated. Okay, let's chat with her for a second.
Dr. John tells me you're a voodoo practitioner of some kind.
Yes, I am a voodoo yen, a voodoo priest.
A voodoo yan, a voodoo priestess. Is there
Do you
anything
get
wrong?
many people in here on an average day?
Some days the need for my power is greater than others. But I have many regular clients who would be lost without my vision, Mr. Knight.
I can imagine.
Look here, brother. Who you jiving with that cosmic debris? I need to find that one. I don't know if I've heard that song. I've heard quite a bit of Frank Zappa, especially the later stuff just before he passed. When medieval armies went off to war, were they playing for keeps? How you doing, Blackbird Twitch?
That's a great looking mask.
It's from Africa, a gift to me from
Queen Tabitha.
Do you know Dr. John well?
Oh, yes. We are old friends. Those with gifts are often drawn together.
Enjoying your coffee. So great. Wait. She's my coffee. What's your daily drink of choice? Believe it or not, water. Pretty much just water. Although, I have been drinking some root beer. I occasionally drink tea. Coffee for everybody.
So, let's say I came to you wanting to attract a woman. Well, what would you advise?
Oh, I wouldn't think you'd have any trouble attracting women, Mr. Knight.
No. I guess I don't.
Too late for coffee.
So, what advice do you give your clients?
I tell them to follow the light, beware of the darkness, and always get expert spiritual advice from someone with the sight.
That's what I thought you'd say.
Only if you're not immune.
That's a great looking mask.
It's
Okay, so just going to repeat that dialogue. Oops. Let's see. What about questions? If we got any new questions, we
Should I
can
ask-
ask her.
of
A cause seeker.
About Grimwald.
What about her?
Okay, we've already gone through that
Nothing.
dialogue.
All right.
Do you know anything about bebes?
I don't know anything about that.
She's certainly not.
Do you know anything about black voodoo?
It is the oldest, darkest heart of voodoo.
It has been so long since I've seen Poltergeist. I bet it's probably early 90s the last time I watched that. And, all right. Let's see. Actually, what is this? I forget now. I know it came out of the phone book. But what is that?
some Gabriel can see.
Well, oh, that's right.
Right!
Also,
Holy
it's
crap!
Deathblow 1971. Let's all give them a warm welcome.
You have exercised this house. The house is clear. The demon, this house is clear. How you doing, Deathblow? Welcome in. You have come in while I fail at this game miserably. This game is killing me. How are you doing? What were you up to tonight? What are you up to? Upcoming stream, May 24th, 12 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Ooh, that's late. What is November or May 25th? That's Friday. No, Thursday. Trespasses of the Dads. Thursday, yeah. I had to look see what day it was. I'm like, and ads are. Oh yeah, here we go. We're gonna have some ads kicking in here in a second. I'm gonna stop just to let these go through. Your rocky start on Dragon Age Origin, but after a reboot was smooth. Ooh, nice. Are we even sure it's a day? It might not be. Some places it's night. It's almost night here. I mean, you know, it's night in Europe. Middle of the night in Europe, actually.
I think there's
Thank you
in the
for the
bushes
lurk.
there.
I appreciate that. Dragon Age Origins. I have Dragon Age 2 on disc. I think I got the others. It is Wednesday there at 02. 12:02. Middle of the night. But, anyway. Well, we're just waiting on these ads to roll through. Let's look at what we've got for potential games here already installed. I need to uninstall that because I'm going to actually play. I'm actually going to play Baldur's Gate 2 on the XP machine. We've got Dungeon Keeper 2, Shadow Warrior, Civ 2, Blade Runner. That's one I'm actually looking forward to. Diablo, Jedi Knight, Dark Forces 2, Fallout 2. Hey, that looks like Echo. So, quite a few here. I think I had some that I don't even have shortcuts for. Some games I pulled over from GOG. Here comes the ads. All right, this should be kicking in any second. Nah, it's just GK. Baldur's Gate 2. Star Wars. Your desktop is like a warm bath of nostalgia. And the worst part is it's actually running in 256 color at the moment because the Gabriel Knight game doesn't like 16-bit. It'll complain if I try to run it. It'll error out. So if I played it in DOS, it wouldn't matter. In fact, yeah, I'm not even going to try because I haven't got it installed for DOS. I mean, we can always bring up Minesweeper. We can kill time. Really? Wow, that was lousy. Oh, wow. So not that one. Oh, we sucked at this game. Has anybody ever beat this game before? 50% chance and I still blew myself, or 33% chance and I still blew myself up. Wow. Oh, come on. I'm just killing time for these ads to roll through. Nobody needs more than 256. You can do expert Minesweeper level in about 8 minutes. My God. 3? So let's see. There are a total of 8 or 7 options. Probably this one or this one. Yeah, it's got to be either one of these two is going to be figures. I was hoping the odds would be in my favor, but clearly not. Boom. Is there a trick to this game? Amateur. I can lose it in a single try. Hey, I already did that once. I hadn't really played this in forever. Let's see. Custom. 4, by 4. See if I can win. And only 5 mines. Oh, it's not going to let me go less than that, huh? Yeah, it's not going to let me do less than beginner. That's crap. It's not exactly a skill you're proud of. Why not? Oh, I should have guessed that. 2, 2, 1, 2. With 10 mines, there you go. Will that work? Oh my God. It seems to. It's bigger than... Oh my God. I think I won. Problem is I can't see the whole board. Oh, that's the maximum. Okay. There we go. The widescreen edition. I can't see. So I guess this is it right there. One there. Oh, I still lost. Holy crap! You're confused. Ads are over. Okay. I'm on a mission, man. Hey, I finally won a game. 16 seconds. All right, we can go back to Gabriel night now. Ads are over. How you doing, Chelnav? That's probably the first and only time I've ever won. Even though it was kind of like, you know... 'Twas the result of too many hours, with nothing but Minesweeper and free cell for company.
Open your mind and heart, and the way will be clear to you.
It'll be clear
I'll
to
give
you.
it my best shot.
Uh-huh. Sure you will. I have no idea what it is that I'm supposed to be doing. If anybody's got a hint, I am all for it. Just speak up, because I don't know what I'm supposed to be, like where I'm supposed to go, and I can't figure out. Could try the cathedral. There was also Spider Solitaire, but that game is evil. Yeah, I mean, I don't have it. I got Hearts and I got Solitaire. I used to do a lot of Solitaire on this though, on 98. You can do it if you like. Hey, I'm good for it. If you've got a hint for me, by all means, anything to help me progress forward. I just want to enjoy the game, and I can't say I'm necessarily having a good time with it at the moment. I have been in there. I picked up the priest's shirt. Ski free, baby. That's where it's at. Now, have I got everything in here? I don't know.
I'm still gonna send
Long
it.
ceremonial robes hang in the closet.
Florin, I have been seriously contemplating getting a copy of Windows 98 Plus. In fact, I think it was PS1 Addict. Got a copy of Windows 95 and Windows 98 Plus, boxed copies of it. And I was like, oh, I would really... Because I had Windows 98 Plus back in the 90s when I used to have Windows 98. And I'd love to get a copy just to add to this for fun, you know? It's one of those, oh, this is cool.
Gabriel cannot see him. Gabriel doesn't want to take that from the ready room.
Why not?
The mirror looks pretty heavy. Gabriel isn't.
There's one well-hidden item you need in the cathedral, and you need to be on the phone. There's not a phone in here, is there? Oh.
Well, you never know when a priest's collar will come in handy.
I'm just clicking on stuff. Like, I couldn't even tell you what that was. This is one of those where I guess... That was a good hint, by the way. For those who don't know, I didn't even see your message, Dick Danza, until after I clicked it to give you an idea. I had no idea. For those who don't know, if you're looking for what is a good hint, Winter Slice nailed it. Oh yeah, there's a phone in his room at the bookstore. I have called that guy. His friend, I forget who it was.
Wolfgang Ritter's phone number.
Yeah, I've talked to him. Sure. And let's see. Oh, he added the collar to it. Look at that.
Gabriel is carrying a priest's shirt and collar which, surprise, surprise, do not belong to him.
Okay, I wonder if he can actually put it on now.
There's no...
And we've gone in and done our confessionals.
Gabriel cannot... There's no...
You need to call more numbers from the phone page. I did call some. I'll go back and we'll see if we can... I forget who it was I was looking for. I could just go down the list and...
Phew, it's humid out there. Made it back, though.
Made it back, though. She's so enthusiastic. Why did he hire her?
So, what's new, Grace?
Your use of mathematics, for one thing. These books are unbelievable.
What can I say? I refuse to be bound by rules.
The strap marks on your bedpost speak otherwise.
You don't like to give hints. I understand.
Got a minute, Grace?
What's up?
I think we've already... Let's see.
Do you have...
Nope.
Could...
Sure.
Nothing new to request.
Do you know anything?
Okay, she's already talked about that. I like to remind people of things they missed instead, which is perfectly fine, too. And honestly, that's exactly what Winter Slice did, at least from my perspective. I didn't necessarily miss it. But see, here's the thing. Sierra Games doesn't have a lot of in the mix. Hang on a second. I appreciate it, Epic. I generally don't encourage it in my chat, though, only because it's questionable. Might be legit and legal elsewhere, but I don't know whether it is here, so I try to avoid it. Big difference in hint straight up telling you what to do. Yes. You nailed it. Like, that, I couldn't have asked for a better hint. That was fantastic. Well, it's questionable. At the very least. I'm not a lawyer, and I don't know the answers to all of that, but I know that it's a product that's owned by Microsoft. And whether it's available for sale or not, it's still an issue, so I try to avoid it. It's just my outlook on it. You don't have to share it, but it is my outlook on it. I mean, she's great. She's fantastic in this. It's just like, why did he hire her? Because she's so snarky. It's like, really? We'll go back and just start calling numbers because I've called quite a few people on this in this phone book, but let's see. You know, son of a gun. Hang on a second. Cajun Critters Veterinary Clinic. Okay, so what I'm going to do is take a screenshot of this so that I can actually... Oh no! Sorry, hit the wrong button. Trying to grab the screenshot, I actually hit the wrong button. Sorry about that. So, where'd it go? There it is. Perfect. That sounded very TNG. Honestly, I'm not sure where the sound itself came from. That was a product of an idea. Well, it's the result of an idea that I had, and Hummiker, one of my mods, actually created. I wouldn't be surprised if he got the sound from TNG. I really wouldn't. I've questioned it, but I've never asked him. All right, let's see. So I've called the Kazanu numbers, all 4 of them. He knows nothing. Speak of the devil. You mentioned it because Michael Doran plays Dr. John, so it's fitting, of course. Let's see. Oh. I've been using cell phones for too long. This turning the phone on to get the dial.
May I take your order?
That's
wrong number.
That's not Flanny's Pizza. That's supposed to be M. Cacao. That's some crap. Wait.
Yeah, what do you want?
Sorry. I think I have a wrong number.
Good.
I feel like if I keep dialing this, I'm going to end up getting Larry. Oh, wait a minute.
Hello. See the World Travel Agency. How may I help you?
Okay. It didn't occur to me until I was looking at this page again. I had a conversation with a guy in Germany, right? And then I'm looking at this phone page and see the World Travel Agency is in bold. So let's see.
What are your specials?
2 weeks in India for 2,000 rupees.
Well, that's certainly special.
Uh-huh. Is there something else I can help you with?
The fingers you have dialed, or wait a minute, the fingers you have used to dial are too fat. To obtain a special dialing wand, please mash the keypad with your palm now. Do you really need your palm for that?
How much for a trip to Rittersburg, Germany?
Rittersburg, Germany? Hold on, let me look that up. I can fly you into Munich. That's the closest airport to Rittersburg. You can rent a car from there, or take the train. Let's see. The best price I can see for the flight is $1,400. What would you like to do?
I can't afford it. Sorry. So I'm going to have to get $1,400, huh?
Sorry.
I see.
Goodbye. What do you have in memory? That's a good question. Ah, Bavaria. If Texas and Florida wore lederhosen. What do I have in memory? I'll look at that here in a second.
The World Travel Agency. How may I help you?
How about a trip to Caribbean?
How much for a trip to the Caribbean?
Well, our least expensive trip is 4 days, 3 nights in St. Croix for $1,250. Of course, we have much nicer packages available.
I'm sure your packages are astonishing, but that's out of my league.
Is there something else I can help you with?
Anderson, Indiana. Why?
I've always wanted to visit Anderson, Indiana.
I'm so sorry, but you can't get there from here.
Can you just get me out of here, please?
Can you just get me out of here, please?
I'd be happy to send you anywhere, sir, but I need a destination.
All right. So it looks like Rittersburg, Germany is where we've got to go, but we've got to get money to do that or somehow
Sorry.
get him
wrong
to
number.
Sorry, wrong number. Got to get him to actually give us
Thank you.
a trip.
Goodbye.
That guy's so friendly. Let's see what's in the memory.
Gabriel never has figured out how to operate the memory function on this phone.
I get the impression Gabriel is not particularly tech savvy. All right. I think wait a minute. Let's try one more number. I think that's 6170.
Cajun Critters Animal Clinic. This is Melissa.
Ooh, yeah.
Do you know anything about snakes?
Our doctors see just about any type of animals, but we don't get many snakes.
Okay, thanks.
Wait. I didn't say hang up yet.
Cajun Critters Animal Clinic. This is Melissa.
Do you have a Madame Casino as a client?
Do you have a Madame Cazonou as a client?
Madame Cosinu? Sure, I know her. She's not here right now, though.
Really? She told me she'd be there.
Do you know about those?
Would you happen to have her address by any chance?
Yes, but I'm not sure I should give it out. Who are you again?
I'm worried about Castro. He's missed 3 dance lessons. Wait, what? I'm going to go with this one.
She's my aunt, and I've sort of lost touch.
I'm sorry, but I don't feel right about giving her address out. Goodbye.
3425. What is that?
The number you have dialed has been
Disconnected. It didn't like that number. Oh, wait, I dialed it wrong. I had a little bit of a moment of dyslexia there.
Yeah, what do you want?
Sorry. I think I have a wrong number.
Good.
That is a wrong number. There you go. Nothing. All right, we're going to try this clinic again. Let's see. 555-6170. Oh.
Cajun Critters Animal Clinic. This is Melissa.
The Bavarian government just recently made buddies with DeSantis on their mutual hate on certain people, and generally it's incredibly conservative. I didn't know about that. Oh, unfortunately, I actually expected their enjoyed being there, used public transit, and wasn't shot at. Something I can't say about Texas or Florida. Oh, was the Leisure Suit Larry number. That's actually a good one. I'm surprised they didn't take advantage of it. Okay, let's see. About Madame Cazanou.
About Madame Cazonou?
Yes?
Yeah.
I really need to get her address.
I just don't know. Why did you need it again?
I'm worried about Castro. He's missed 3 dance lessons.
Castro? Her little doggy? Oh, he's so sweet. Well, I guess if you know Castro, it's okay. Her address is 345 Dauphine.
Thanks.
I didn't expect that. Let's learn more about voodoo. It's getting late. Ooh. Thank you very much. I appreciate it, Lauren. Hopefully we'll see you again soon. I'm sure I'll be playing this next Tuesday, banging my head against a wall. And hopefully I'll catch you on Thursday on Godcon.
How's our favorite Schattenhager doing?
Adventure Josh, thank you for the 100 bits. How are you doing? Thank you so much for that. It was really awesome. How's our favorite Schottenjäger? Well, I don't have any Jaeger, much less a shot of one. But that $100 might get me closer to it. So we've talked to Cazanou. I don't think we really have any other questions for...
Welcome, Ra!
Course you do. All right, let's see if maybe that's on the map now.
I'm out of here. Try not to sell out the store while I'm gone.
Don't hurry back on my account.
Oh no, you spoiled that a word comes up in the game. Check it out, Kazanu Residence. New item on the map. I guess. Yes?
Yes.
Who is it? Ah.
I have some fine magazine subscriptions for sale.
I'm sorry, but I'm not interested.
I'm not interested. How you doing, Pi? Welcome in. Is it in-game, day 6? It is currently day 3, of all things. Those are some interesting emotes. Now, I mean, I know Kilgore's. The others, though. What is that? Classy Pax, Paxi R. What in the world is that, Pi? I don't know that emote. That's weird. Paxi C. Holding a shot. Ah. It took me... I took it to mean... Oh, in Game 6. Rave Swords. Gotcha. I'm like, what? And it looks like Classy Pax must have done their emotes. It's just like ABCD or something like that. I don't know. And a twig. That's what it looks like. Something.
Hi, I'm doing an article on voodoo, and I heard that you...
I am a good Catholic young man. Take your evil influence elsewhere.
Ooh.
But I just have a few questions.
I can feel the evil eye. Go away.
You can feel the evil eye.
Yes. Who is
it?
I've got some great pet supplies. Coochie coo little doggy.
Coochie coo little doggy.
Castro has everything he needs. Don't you, Castro?
Thanks a lot, Castro.
Land Shark. How you doing there, Retro Slow Lane? It makes your afternoon. It's my evening. Interesting. A twig. So what's with the twig? I'm gonna have to, you know what? I should just go to Classy Pax's page. Hope they're not streaming yet. Hang on a second here. Oh, crap, that's not what I wanted. That's what I wanted. I am not familiar with the streamer. I know nothing about them. Ah, here we go. I gotta say, there is a lot of very consistent quality emotes. 100,000 followers, jeez. He does RP and newer games. Nice. That's pretty cool. I'll drop him a follow. I'll check him out later. I don't rarely put follows for people just based on their emotes, but those were pretty interesting. All right, let's see. Why did he say Land Shark?
Land Shark?
You are no Bill Murray.
Boy, I must have missed that. Let's see. Please let me talk to you, Madame Kazanu.
Please let me talk to you,
Says it
Madame
all.
Kazanu.
I don't talk to strangers, young man.
Oh, you're talking to me now.
Yes. Who is it?
She's not angry yet.
Hi.
I told you.
Okay.
Well, all windows flank the front of...
Dimension. It's a Saturday Night Live joke from the 70s. You know, now that you say that, I vaguely remember something about that, but I think it was something I just caught on YouTube at one point. I didn't watch a whole lot of Saturday Night Live ever, actually. And of course, that goes back 40 years too, so, geez. 40 plus, really. With Bill Murray, it goes back over 40 years. I think what it says is, hey? Hey, Cheekstery, how you doing? Welcome in. It's good to see you. This was only... Really? This was... Well, let's see. So, Saturday Night Live started, what, like 1975, I think it was? This came out in 93, so almost 20 years later. Jeez. 18 years. You watched SNL in the 80s because it was culturally relevant? I mean, I watched it when I could, but in the 80s, I was in, like, elementary school, middle school, and high school, so... Until I got into high school, and even then I didn't stay up that late to watch Saturday Night Live. But before that I was too young to stay up that late, even on a Saturday night. Or I happened to be over at somebody's house. I was probably too young to be watching Saturday Night Live anyway. Well, thank you. Appreciate that. Your friends at school were going to reference it. Yeah, that's true. Now it's hard to imagine everyone watching it. I don't know. In a way, it became relevant again. I think the big issue with Saturday Night Live is a couple of things, and it's just my opinion. It doesn't mean much, but for one, the talent they're looking for. You know, back then when they first started Saturday Night Live, think about the people that they had. They got Chevy Chase at his prime. Granted, jerk or not, he was funny at the time. Bill Murray. You had Eddie Murphy shortly after they started, John Belushi, Dan Aykroyd, all these folks. I mean, these were just powerhouses of talent. And then even into the 80s, you know, when they first picked up Eddie Murphy and that entire crew from them, Spies Like Us, your only Chevy Chase film that you really enjoy, really. I liked National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. And... I think it was Funny Farm. Funny Farm could be fun. That wasn't too bad. Just Me Cable. Streaming happened with people watch different things. Yeah, that makes it much more accessible. Like watching Saturday Night Live, I don't stay up on Saturday nights that late because I have to get up so early. So I don't even watch it now. But every once in a while, if I hear about a funny clip or a funny intro, I'll pop in, you know, to YouTube and check it out and just get a good laugh off of it. But that's about as far as it goes. I wonder.
All right, but this is Brian.
Uh-huh. She's a good Catholic. That's how you get... Okay, this is so wrong. You know that? This is so freaking wrong. Going to H. But very Gabriel Knight. I mean, really.
Yes. Who is it?
It's Father McLaughlin here to see you.
It's Father McLaughlin to see you.
Well, Father, you should be ashamed of yourself being so ill-groomed.
Oh, my.
I'm sure the bishop would never approve. You can just go get a haircut before you come calling on me again.
Wow.
I know my duty, Father. But a priest seeking contributions should take pains to represent the church with respect.
That's a good point, Dick Danza. He did steal the police badge and represented himself as a policeman. Policeman? Boy, I can't even talk. Or Fletcher. Fletcher was pretty good. You love the theme from those movies made by Harold Faltermeyer, who also made Axel F. And the ending theme to Spies Like Us was a Paul McCartney song. Yeah, I don't care anything at all about Paul McCartney or any band that he might have been involved in. You know, not at all. Gabriel Knight does give an F about a lot of norms. He does. It's Fletch, not Fletcher. Yeah, you're right. You are right. Respect the police, nah. He doesn't respect anything, does he? Have you been reading anything lately? Mostly text in game and lots of stuff at work. I don't get a whole lot of time to do that kind of thing, unfortunately. All right. Is there a place I can go? There isn't a barber shop. Can I wear a hat? Maybe? Oh.
The things I do for my art.
The hair pomade. I forgot about this. Okay.
Yes? Who is it?
It's Father McLaughlin to see you.
I see you've taken my advice, Father. I didn't mean to be harsh, but the church is the church.
Well, when you're right...
You're right.
Exactly. Come in, Father.
I do like to
Be
read.
seated, Father.
Thank you.
Now, what can I do for you?
It's just always so darn busy. Okay, so we finally found her. She doesn't like anything to do with the church, does she? I mean, look at the pictures. It's only Father and church. You can call me Dad. Oh, State Farm is there. All right, so what am I... Let's just start here.
It's so nice of you to invite me in.
Ah, but no, mon père. I am always happy to see one of the good fathers.
One of the good ones. First and foremost, he's not a father.
Do you mind if I ask you a few questions, my child?
Of course not, mon père.
Why exactly is he British? Wow, he looks weird with his hair slicked back. I don't know. I guess he's trying to be like an Irish Catholic priest or something like that, because that's what it sounds like. But I think he's just trying to hide the fact that he'd come knocking on her door before he got dressed up to look like a priest, hoping that he could be a little stealthier.
What can you tell me about voodoo?
People think I'm just a foolish old woman, but I know the things they do. My family's been in New Orleans since 1750, so I know more than most. Voodoo people are all over this city, in the shops, everywhere. They'll curse you like that, and most people don't even notice. Spit on your bread at the bakery. Take strands of your hair at the store when you try on the clothes. You have to be so careful. But I know their ways, so I can protect myself. I know how to use the magic too, and I can counteract their evil spells.
Is she a voodoo child? Accents are all over the place. Well, first of all, Tim Curry's Louisiana accent is awful. I mean, he's every once in a while he gets close, but more often than not he kind of just skirts around the edges of it and kind of ends up a little bit in Texas and sometimes in South Carolina and most of the time nowhere I've ever heard before. Voodoo people, what a banger. I'll bet Gabriel is feeling uncomfortable burn looking so slicked back and wearing a clerical collar. And he's probably risking a little bit of a zap of a lightning bolt.
What do you know about the voodoo murders?
Oh, I forgot to ask about voodoo again.
Murders? Ha! They are nothing new to me, Father. They happen
Father.
all the time. I hardly go out anymore. It's too dangerous in the streets. They can get you anywhere, you know. Even here in this room. But I try not to let them know about me. That's the best way.
Let me ask about voodoo again.
Tell me more about voodoo in New Orleans.
It's just plain evil. It's dangerous to even discuss it.
Tell me.
Okay, so that's all she's going to tell
What
me.
do you know?
They'll hear you.
What can you tell me about New Orleans?
The only true New Orleanians are of French origin, you know. My family were among the original settlers of New Orleans, They came here from France. The Creole society used to be so gay in New Orleans. Now it barely hangs on by its fingernails.
What can you tell me about...
You know, I can stroll the streets of the French Quarter and see in my mind's eye the way it used to be. It was wonderful in the old days.
What can you...
New Orleans isn't what it used to be, I can tell you. There's too few of the real people left.
The real people? Are you trying to tell me something? Is that code for, you know, you don't like anybody who's not of the French descent? Hey, Sir Citizen Unknown, how you doing?
What can you tell me about New Orleans?
New Orleans isn't what it used to be.
Do you know anything...
Snakes! They're evil creatures. Did you know that evil people can send them into your
Right,
dreams?
Epic?
They can. That's why I never sleep.
Right, thanks. Do you know anything...
It would be bad luck to...
What can you tell me about St. John's Eve?
St. John's Eve? Mais oui! I used to love the St. John's Eve Mass at Sandwich Cathedral. Of course, it is also a night of great wickedness. Worse than All Hallows Eve. They will corrupt anything, Father.
They? They who?
Oh, you know.
I do? How about you tell me, and maybe then we can decide if I really know.
What can you tell me about St. John's Eve?
I don't think I should say any more about that.
Do you have any idea what Cabri Sans Corps means?
Mais oui, I know. I bet you do not, Father, n'est-ce pas?
It means don't eat the chili. Capri Sun? That's exactly what he said. Capri Sun. Of course I know what it means. Do you?
Of course I know what it means. Do you?
I wasn't born yesterday, Father. I won't tell you what it means if you don't already know.
What is the big secret for that particular? I don't understand.
Well,
it means goat without horns.
now, Father, you surprise me. You do know what it means. You know what they mean by goat without horns, don't you? A human being. That's right. Slit your throat, cut out your heart. Pure evil murder.
That Cabri Sans Corps thing.
Do not continue to tease me, Father. You know what it means as well as I.
Tell me more about Marie Laveau.
She was only a front for the real evildoers, Father. And that's the truth about Marie Laveau.
Tell me more about Marie Laveau.
She was...
Okay.
Do you know anything about animal masks?
No, Father. I don't know anything about that.
Once when you were 8, was in the 80s, so I can go to a park by myself. I left a Capri Sun there. The next day I came back, and it was still there, so I took a sip, but it wasn't full of Capri Sun. It was full of ants! Oh my God! Oh, Dick Danza, that's awful. How you doing, Final? It's good to see you. I thought I'd be finished with this by now. Still enjoying it? I am. Everything but these stupid puzzles in this one. I am not liking the puzzles much at all in this game. But I am enjoying the game itself. The story is absolutely awesome. I love the campy voiceovers, the cheesiness of it all. And the artwork, of course, typical Sierra. It's fantastic, as the music is, too.
Do you know...
No, Father.
Do you know anything about Veves?
No, Father. I don't know anything about that.
Things an 8-year-old will do. I mean, as an 8-year-old, you wouldn't really think much of that. I was expecting even worse, and that was bad. So I'm like, oh man, what are you gonna get, like a
black voodoo?
That's nasty.
Oh, yes, Father. It is the wickedest kind. The kind they practice here in New Orleans.
At least you got plenty of protein. I mean, at least ants are edible, you know. You kind of expect it. Yeah, see? Exactly.
Tell me,
I already...
have you ever heard of a Schattenjäger?
No, Father. I don't know anything about that.
Do you know anything about human sacrifice here in New Orleans?
Well, my great-grandmother could tell stories. She saw it. People say that sort of thing wasn't done in New Orleans. But the real voodoo queens did it. Oh, yes.
Oh, yes.
Can you tell me anything else about human sacrifice?
What is there to tell? They cut your heart out.
And final, I'm so close to finishing Lands of Lore. I can't wait. I'm so looking forward to it. About time Microsoft Windows 11 is getting native support for 7-zip, RAR, and GZ archive formats in an update coming this week. Wow. You know, I wonder if that has a lot to do with how much they've embraced Linux and the PowerShell command and all of that, because it really, you know, it supports so much, like LS and everything now. It's crazy. That would be some crazy action. Oh my God, Nick Danza, that's awful. I think you're right near the end. Yes, I am so close to finishing it. And I'm looking forward to seeing the end. That game has been so amazing. You just deleted WinRAR on your laptop and installed 7-zip. I've had 7-zip installed for, oh God, I don't know, 15 years. I always keep it because it's so handy. I don't necessarily use it for basic zip stuff, but it's really handy if I get some unusual compression format. It's like the VLC of compression. Not really. That's maybe a bit of an exaggeration, but it does really well with a lot of the different compression formats.
Can you tell me about yourself?
Me? I am Creole. My family has been in New Orleans for over 200 years. Real New Orleanians are French, you see. These days the city is overrun with people with no heritage at all. No offense, Father, but it's true. But the French, naturellement, will always be the true blood of New Orleans.
The developer of 7-zip is a basket case and won't update it for Windows 11. I mean, I've got it installed on Windows 11, but I didn't actually. I just grabbed the zip archive of it, not the installer executable, and it works fine. You actually like Windows 11? I have no problems with Windows 11. I mean, there's times I would rather I didn't, more often than not. She's 99.9% not French. She's not French. She's from New Orleans. Is she done for school yet? Not yet. She's got technically got 3 days left. So Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then she's done for the summer. No integration for the modern context menu? It does, Epic. It does. It actually does. Here, I'll show you something. It absolutely works. Let me go somewhere where I can... So, we'll just go to the DOS games folder. Here we go. All right. So here we go. So I can... The whole reason why NanaZip fork exists, check it out. All right. 7-zip. Add to archive, compress, and email. Add Duke 2.7z, compress Duke 2. Now, granted, I had to go into the registry for Windows 11 and force the context menus to appear, but these would appear even if you clicked on the more. But I don't know. It's always been there. I have the old context menus enabled. That's the only ones I use. I don't really use context menus that much. But, I mean, it's technically the only ones I knew. Add to archive, compress. But it'll come up, and it does its thing. Of course, it just zipped it into 7-zip. So the context menus work, but I guess there's a different one that I'm not aware of. Do I use a local account? Yes, I don't have an online account with well, I have one technically, but I don't use it on this. It's not. I'm not logged into it. So now you got me wondering. The old context menus. There is new context menus. I didn't know anything about them. Now you got me wanting. I don't dig into the settings. I just use it to compress and whatnot. Remember the old Norton utilities? Oh, man. Yeah. Icons and context menu. So, actually, here, hang on a second. Bring this up. Help me out. You remember the DOS Norton utilities? You remember your dad using Norton Commander in DOS? I remember it. I never used it. Let's see. Context menu items. So this is what's here. And I can actually, I can enable icons. Show system menu. Alternative selection. That's the new context menu. You have some registry hack enabled to use the old context menu by default. I didn't. I did nothing to Windows to 7-zip. However, Windows 11's. Oh wait, I didn't mean to turn that off. Hang on a second. So Windows 11, yes, it does. It does give you a different context menu. But all it does is just shorten stuff up. You can go into the registry and just change the flag. I did it like, I don't know, 10 months ago, so I don't remember the exact one. Somebody mentioned it in a stream one day. I went, oh, really? I've been doing it this way for like 2 months. And I was like, it's kind of annoying, but it works. And so you just go in and it just automatically expands your entire context list. But all this stuff was here even beforehand. It was always there. You just have to click a little link at the bottom of the shortened context menu, and it'll expand it back down. It's been so long since I changed it. You never liked Commander much? Yeah, the show more options. That's what it was. But yeah, I did do that. But that's just a simple registry change. It's not really a hack so much. It's just. It's a setting you can change that's not in any settings menu anywhere. You have to manually go into the registry and change it.
Tell me about yourself.
Well, Father, I don't know what else to say.
You never liked Commander much. It was always felt like a very bad version of directory Opus to me. I never liked Norton's tools, period. I mean, they had some cool stuff. Don't get me wrong. There were really cool features. But the thing about Norton that I hated was it was always such a resource hog. Like, you would load it up and it was nuts. Context menu is inherently different and the third-party integration is different. The show more options is a link to the old context menu. Yeah, basically, whichever way it was, but that's all it was. It's literally a flag in the registry. I didn't install anything. I didn't add a link or anything in the registry. I just went and changed one thing in the registry. Let me see if I can find the instructions on it. Search for regedit. Let's see. Go to regedit. Navigate to the following HKey current user software classic CLSID. Right-click CLSID. Select the new menu, and select the key option. Oh, you do add a new key. I'm sorry, but it's just adding a key. It's just not there. Name the key, and it gives you. Well, here. Name the key this right here and press enter. Right click the newly created key and select the key and then name the key improc server and enter. And that's it. and click OK, restart the computer. That's it. Like, there's nothing really. It's annoying. You do it once, you never have to go back to it again. But this was where I got it from, and the only reason I know this is where I got it from is because it was still highlighted from my history. Happy not to deal with it. I didn't have a choice. When I bought this computer, it had Windows 11, and it's the key that's assigned to it, so I just left it. But I've been okay with it. I haven't had any issues. The new context menu, there won't be any 7-zip integration. The old context menu will eventually be deprecated. Probably, yeah. But for now, it's not. You like the early stripped-down versions that didn't have all the fancy overdone wizards. Yeah, they did get a little carried away, didn't they? Every time you install a new version of Windows, the first thing I ask is, what can I do to make this more useful like the old ones? I know. I look at the start menu. That's the one thing I really don't like very much about Windows 11. The Windows 11 start button makes me feel like KDE. Like the KDE interface. I don't hate the KDE interface, but I really don't care for it that much. I do love, however, like for example, I still think this is a great start menu. I mean, come on, how many start menus can you just drag stuff up and down and resort and organize stuff, right? Oops, I didn't mean to do that. Cancel. Early Win 10 was very KDE, yeah. It really was. You'll have to switch to Windows 10 soon. Yeah. What are you on, Cirrus? Windows 8? Is that even being supported anymore? KDE 1.x was jank, but very open and pluggable, yeah. You're on Classic Shell to make your start menu like that. You're on Windows 7? Oh my god. That hasn't been updated in years. I mean, I'm sitting here playing this game on Windows 98. I can't really say much, but
Tell me about...
Well, Father, I don't know what it...
Who were the real voodoo queens?
My great-grandmother told me that Lavaux was just a front, a flamboyant decoy. She distracted authorities from the real voodoo queen of New Orleans. It's been the same one for almost 200 years. She's head of us. The real voodoo queen controlled Lavaux, gave her a little bit of power, and used her like a puppet.
Yeah, 2 years, 2025 there, Blimp. Later it got, I don't know, do it our way or get the F out. Yeah, and I went back to shells. Looks like then soon I'm switching to another obsolete model Epic. Where, yeah, Microsoft's already working on Windows 12. I mean, really, it's... I was skeptical when they said Windows 10 will be the last operating system we ever create. I was hoping it would be true, though. My other issue with Norton is, like most of the other antivirus and system tools, is it's scareware nowadays. Scare you into buying stuff. Here was the last version. Yeah, exactly. Windows as a service. Whatever. Fooled you.
Is there anything else you remember about the real voodoo queen?
Well, my great-grandmother said that the real voodoo queen was the most beautiful woman on earth. She had the most incredible copper-colored skin.
Microsoft always makes a version of Windows everyone hates, then one that's somewhat acceptable. They do have that sort of cadence going. I will say, Windows 95 was relatively loved. People hated Windows 95 mainly were the ones who had older machines that already had Windows 3.1 and like DOS 5 or 6 installed, and then they tried to upgrade from that. I can tell you from experience, if you installed Windows 95 fresh, it was great. There was really nothing wrong with it. The Pentium 166 that I had was perfectly fine under Windows 95, aside from the general flakiness of the operating systems of the time. Little bugginess about dealing with hardware and things like that. It really wasn't bad. Windows 98 was much, much better and much more palatable. Windows ME has its hatred, of course. But honestly, Windows 10 and Windows 11, I've been okay with. There's some things I hate about both of them, but it's a trend that's just happening in general, and that's where they're trying to force you to log into an online account. And the last update just a couple of weeks ago, the major update that they did on Windows 11, they tried to force me into logging into an online account again. And it took me a moment to figure out how to get around that so that I didn't have to, because I don't want to and I don't need to. The trick, by the way, is unplug your Ethernet cable and then restart in most cases.
Incoming ads for you
Remember 95 is a real bugfest, but you have it. You have to have it because Magic the Gathering wouldn't run a DOS 3.1. So yeah, with that, just make sure you've got all the service packs and patches installed, and it actually isn't that bad. Or better yet, just install Windows 98. 99% of the stuff that ran on Windows 95 ran perfectly fine under 98. Mac is doing that junk too. They're all doing it because it's data collection and it's potential sales. The idea was to catch up with Apple, who were on Mac OS 10 for over a decade. Once Microsoft introduced Windows 10, Apple moved to the Mac OS 11, so Microsoft had to catch up again. I never thought of it that way, but that's a good point. That crap made me just skip it all. Yeah. Probably why your brother was jealous of you. First PC was Win98. Oh, nice. Nice. I'm going to let these ads roll through. I need a quick bio break. Give me just a few minutes here. I'm just going to let this sit here for a moment, hit the Be Right Back screen. If you guys will please bear with me, I will return shortly.
I'll be back in a jiffy! I'll be back in a jiffy!
Oh my God, what is going on? I didn't change anything. Why is it not working? I'll just be right back.
I'll be back in a jiffy!
All right, I don't know what happened. Oh my god. For some strange reason, my Stream Deck is acting all kinds of weird, like it's all confused. Hot take, people who say Windows XP was the best OS for Microsoft never used pre-SP1. It was buggy, messy, resource hog, worse than Vista could have ever been. I'm one of those guys. I think XP was the pinnacle of Microsoft operating systems. But I do agree with you 100%. That's not to say that pre-SP1 sucked. But when they finally got everything worked out, I should say, by 2006 or so, it was great. Really, even by 2003, it was great. I didn't have a whole lot of issues with it, although I did have some issues when they introduced... what is that account security thing that they put in there? They still use it today, and I can't think of it. Now it's kind of buried. But Windows 2000 was more stable. Well, Windows 2000 was basically Windows NT 4.0 with updates and DirectX support. There was a lot combined. So NT 4.0 had been around since, 94? 95, something like that. You're still using Windows XP at its best. I still have it. That's not accurate. Well, I mean, it's has a lot of it. The way the graphics stack were arranged was quite different. Well, I mean, it's the core of it all. The operating system isn't the graphics stack, though. One of the challenges in NT4 is a lot of people wanted to use it to do other things other than just work. But it didn't support anything. I mean... I have to install that again. I can install that on this Pentium too. Well, when the way the graphics drivers run is quite different, that's a pretty big OS change. It's a pretty big OS change, but it's also, and you're going to hate me for saying this, running Linux. Just saying. That's kind of how I see it. Because the operating system is that. It's the core of it. They still run differently. This is not Linux that most people would expect it to be, but in the core of it, it's still Linux. No fun, only work surprised me. Surprised it was not more popular in Germany. Wow. Emmy was awesome and fantastically good. Oh, that's a bizarre hot take. I mean, but you're right. It's not 100% like NT, and I didn't mean it to sound like that, but it is. It was basically NT 4.0 updated to work a little bit better in general purpose computing and not just in workstation purposes. So if they had to make changes to achieve that, of course, I mean, that makes sense. You believe that Windows ME existed for some contract reason and intentionally poor, quote unquote. If ME had the same time to cook like XP, it would have been just as good. And it really didn't, because think about that. Let's think about this for a second. Windows 95 came out, August 95? Or it was really late. It almost wasn't Windows 95. Windows 98 comes out 3 years later. Windows ME comes out 2 years later. And then 2000 comes out that same year, and Windows XP comes out the following year. Holy crap, that's a lot of operating systems in a 5-year span, 6-year span, really. I mean, if you want to look at Windows 95, that's a lot. That's nuts. Yeah, that's what I mean. It's a continuation. I mean, it wouldn't be a whole lot different to say that this is still based on NT 4.0. It's just so far removed. It's like a distant great-great-grandfather or something. Doubtful NT had a modern design, and 9XME just didn't. But NT 3 and 4 didn't really have a focus on consumers. That was not their purpose. It was entirely meant for enterprise use. So there was not a lot there for the average consumer. The average person didn't walk into a Micro Center and say, "Can I get a copy of Windows NT 4.0? I'm trying to figure out how I got my copy of NT 4.0. I don't remember. Can't remember. Oh, wait. Let's see. 2 copies of... NT3 was not accommodating. It really was not. I have limited use for NT3. And I only did it in remote servicing back in 2000, 2001. Like 99, 2000... And I did this, I worked for a company called Radiant Systems at the time, and I would remote into systems and work on them. And anytime I had to remote into an NT3 system, I was like, oh, God. I don't know. I'll dig it up later, but I am curious. I might install NT 4.0 just for kicks and grins. Press Control-Alt-Delete to log in. Was your first experience? I mean, yeah, usually in that case, it was already somebody who was already logged in, so I would just remote in, because we were using PC Anywhere at the time, and it was always dial-up. With the rare occasion we would get somebody that had ISDN, and if we were, that was if we were really lucky. I was happy just to get a single-channel ISDN to be able to log in remotely, because otherwise, dial-up, it was like, I would click to log in, like I would try and sign into it, and I could practically get up and take a 5-minute break, come back, and finally be in. NT10. I'm curious. Hang on a second here. Let's see. I'm trying to find something here. I'm curious. Yeah, here you go. Adventure Josh, this will crack you up because you can do this yourself. Let me make sure I don't have anything in here that's going to, out me somehow. All right. Yeah, it doesn't look like it. Here you go. Here you go. The idea that it is still NT, I guess you could sort of argue to a small degree that it still is. First and foremost, not that it's easy to see, but Microsoft Windows 11 Home, right? Environment variables. OS, Windows NT. It's still around. The string is not very convincing. I know. I'm just picking on it. Is to NT 10.0.2. See, that's my point. It's still part of it. It's just funny. I think it's hilarious that, it's like no matter how hard they try to get away from things, there's too much. But it is the same code line. It really is. It's part of that same. It's the same lineage. I mean, it's like somebody who says, well, I'm the great-great-great-grandson of Abraham Lincoln. I mean, he's not Abraham Lincoln, but he's still part of the family, All right, let's see. Find all plus replace.
You remember about the real voodoo queen?
Well, they are all brides of Satan. Other than that, I can't think of anything.
I love how it's always, if it's somebody that they can consider evil, even though they may not really have any justifiable means, it's automatically, they're sons of Satan. Wait, what? Part of the same code line is not very surprising. Well, I mean, it isn't at all, really. The weirder part is how NT is completely unrelated to Win 16, but yet supposed to run the same programs, kind of. If you really want to see how ancient some parts of Windows are, there is a dialer program in the OS folder that hasn't been updated since 3.1. Oh my god. Well, I mean, it's something that still works, why not? What was it? I forget which version of Windows they finally took out the Windows 3.0 shell. There was... Because I would load it up occasionally, just for kicks and grins. And I know it's not in Windows 11, or at least I'm pretty sure it's not. But I swear it was in Windows XP, and I swear it was in Windows 7. Might have been Vista. Yeah, maybe it was... I could be wrong, it's not in 7. But... for example, It is here, and I like to bring this up just to make people laugh because it's quite funny. I can't remember. It's been so long since I've loaded it. I may not even be able to remember what the name was. You got Vista as your dev machine in 2009. Jeez. The other developers told me just delete that shit. Is it true that one Windows had a copy of Star Wars in ASCII form? I don't know. Maybe? The hell was the name of the file? Program Man, that's it. There you go. Program Manager. There's your Windows 3.1 interface for Windows 98. EMM386.exe is a pretty old sounding file too. I mean, it's been around at least since early DOS era, or well, maybe mid to late DOS era actually. But yeah, Progman, yeah, Progman. And it still works more or less exactly the same way. And ultimately, instead of dropping to an icon like it does in Windows 3.1, it just minimizes to the corner. It's just funny. Twitch. It's been a long time since I've loaded up Program Manager. It wasn't actually a Windows 3.1. Let's see. But yeah, EMM386. I guess that's long gone. That probably hasn't been available since what? Maybe since ME. Even in Windows 98, you'd get like old DOS or something like that. The folder for that. Progman, the best website. Okay, so we'll exit this. Is she gonna let me show her some things?
Madam Carson, who is paranoid and fearful enough without showing her that graphic photograph.
Okay, let's not do that then.
Does this mean anything to you?
Oh, I did.
It does not.
I missed a conversation of it. Okay, I'll go back to that. Hang on a second. I thought I got everything. So I asked her about real voodoo queens. I asked her about... Oh, I missed this. Thank you.
Tell me more about this secret voodoo hound fool.
Well, I've never seen it. I wouldn't go near it if you paid me. But it's here in Orleans, I guarantee it. I hear the drums at night, oh yes. That's why I am so ill. I tell you, those drums. But we shouldn't talk about it. They'll hear us. It's the devil's work that happens there. I can tell you. I'll show you something. Something secret. You mustn't tell anyone, Father.
I swear on my collar.
Here it is.
He's going to hell for this one.
True object of evil, if there ever was one.
It radiates something, all right.
It belonged to my great-grandmother. She told my mother that it was a token to gain entrance to the real voodoo ceremonies.
You don't say.
To tell you the truth, I always felt nervous about having it in the house. You know, evil influence and all.
Oh, I can see how you would, yes.
And yet, I could never part with it. It's been in the family for generations. Would you bless it for me, Father? I feel strange asking such a thing of you, but surely you understand.
It's a
Bless
Paris,
this
Texas.
bracelet of a snake, even though its fives aren't great.
Oh, dear
Let
Lord.
it do nobody harm when they wear it on their arm. Voodoo spirits, go away. Don't come back another day. And now, let us pray.
Okay, I'm going to say that poem was awful. But it's far better than anyone I would have done.
Oh, right. Here you go.
saith the night. Should all the French people move to Paris, Texas? I know there was a good bit of Germans that moved there, like immigrated to Texas. I'm not sure exactly why. Maybe they got tired of being cold in northern Germany. I don't know. I don't know of a lot of French that were there. I'm sure there were. Okay, let's see. What else can we give her to...
Does this mean anything to you?
No, Father, it does not.
Probably got confused during World War II and went to the wrong Paris. They were like, any Paris right now is better than the one they were in.
Does this mean anything to you?
No, Father, it does not.
It's just who is coming when. Yeah.
Does this mean anything to you?
No, Father,
it does not. I'm not getting a whole lot of positives off this. The conversation alone was quite good, but the rest of this doesn't seem to be doing so well.
Does this mean anything to you?
No, Father, it does not.
Man, I'm glad this day is almost over. I'm telling you, it's been a busy one.
Does this mean anything to you?
No, Father, it does not.
I forget, what is that? Oh, that's the scale, that's right. The snake scale.
Does this mean...
No,
it does not. Lady, do you know anything?
This is the...
Can we... Oh, I already showed her this, didn't I? Show her the snake skin.
Does this...
No,
Alright.
It's a painting of a pretty young lady in old-fashioned clothes.
Madame, in younger days?
Good heavens, no, Father.
She's about 100. She doesn't remember anything anymore. You're probably right.
There's an old-fashioned... The tea service has been polished recently. Madame uses it with her Creole sisters, perhaps? The painting behind the couch is a Madonna in child. Madame's parlor is full of carefully dusted and polished relics of her past. An old table lamp with a fringed shade. A small table hold. Madame's antiques are probably worth some. Madame finds comfort in these iconic images, it seems. The folding screen has a colorful pattern.
Okay, I don't know if there's anything else.
But normal.
Okay.
Gabriel can...
Oh, can I just walk around? Can I just wander wherever I feel? Oh, looks like she'll send me if I... Yeah.
Well, madame, I must be gone.
Of course, Father. I know how busy you...
Cut off the conversation. She's like, get out! I'm not even going to finish my sentence.
I'm not going back on the street looking like this.
Like this. Okay. I'm not sure if we gained everything we needed. My last hint for the day, there was a point where you didn't pay attention when you really should have.
The excitement of seeing you is killing me.
It wasn't so much that I wasn't paying. Well, actually, I take that back. There might have been something I missed when I wasn't paying attention, but I did skip something by accident. So let's go to Casino, and we'll go over that again. I think it was under Black Voodoo. Is that what it was?
Do you know anything about Black Voodoo?
Oh, yes, Father. It is the wickedest kind.
It could be at any point.
Practice here in
You're not wrong.
Orleans.
Tell me more about Black Voodoo.
I already...
Okay, so it wasn't Black Voodoo. What was it? Real voodoo
Do
queens?
you know anything about...
My great-grandmother could tell stories. She saw it. People say that sort of thing wasn't done in New Orleans. But the real voodoo queens did it. Oh, yes.
Can you tell me anything else about human sacrifice?
What is that?
Can you tell me any...
What?
No. The hell was it that I missed?
Have you ever heard of a shot? Who were the real...
Ah, it must have been this.
Mother told me that Lavaux was just a front, a flamboyant decoy. She distracted authorities from the real voodoo queen of New Orleans. It's been the same one for almost 200 years. She's head of a secret voodoo en fort. That's what they call their temples, you know. It's so secret. Most of the voodoo people in the city don't even know about it. The real voodoo queen controlled Lavaux, gave her a little bit of power, and used her like a puppet.
Is there anything else you remember about the real voodoo queen?
Well, my great-grandmother said that the real voodoo queen was the most beautiful woman on earth. She had the most incredible copper-colored skin.
Is there anything else you remember about...
Well, they are all brides of Satan. Other than that, I can't think of anything.
All right. Okay. Well, let's talk to her real quick.
Your use of mathematics, for one thing. These books are unbelievable.
What can I say? I refuse to...
This...
Okay, we've already had that conversation. Let's see, 1:30. Okay, we've got a ways to go.
Got a minute, Grace?
What's up?
Okay, so we've got some new information here.
Are you
Voodoo Hound 4.
Do you know anything about a secret voodoo hound fool?
In New Orleans?
I think so.
No, I don't. But it sounds dangerous. You're not gonna try to find this voodoo group yourself, are you?
Would I do that?
He's a great singer. Is that what you mean? I mean, I like Frank. If you're talking about Frank Sinatra, I like Frank Sinatra. The only thing I know about his daughter is these boots are made for walking, and that's about it. All right. Maybe.
I'll be back later.
15 seconds for
See
your
ya.
pleasure. Oh, wait. Wait. I'm not going to play this yet, but I saw this There I Ruined It with Snoop Dogg and Bare Necessities, and it was one of the funniest things I think I've ever seen. It was very funny. Just don't ask you to sing "Fly Me to the Moon." Okay, let's go to the. I am going to listen. I'm going to listen to that, but I'm going to do it after this. I don't think it would DMCA me, but I don't want to risk it. You know, Frank Sinatra, kind of.
So, this is a voodoo store, huh?
Voodoo? No, man, this is a curio shop. The things you see here are from local folklore. None of it's real, I tell you for sure.
Can I ask you...
Whatever, man. Okay.
I never said those words.
Can you tell me anything about a secret voodoo hound fool?
Why, there's no such thing. Not around here.
Uh-huh. This guy says he doesn't know anything. I have a feeling he knows a lot. He's a liar. Liar!
Do you know anything about these crosses? I think there's some kind of code.
Looks like a lot of hen tracks to me, man.
I guess that's probably all we're going to get out of him.
This is the
Yeah. Shut up, lady. Let's go talk to Worf. Lieutenant Worf must have something on the Voodoo Home 4.
Hello, Dr. John.
Liar!
Glad you
On
could
fire!
rejoin us, Mr. Knight.
All right. Actually, let's talk to him first.
So, how is the museum business?
Those who truly seek understanding are few, Mr. Knight. But even one can be an audience.
Yep, sounds about like my shop.
That's pretty cryptic, to be honest.
Could I ask you some more questions?
Of course. I also find...
Okay, that's enough. Get to the point here.
Tell me...
I don't think we have anything new there, but let's ask him about the
Do you
Voodoo
know
Home
anything
4.
about a secret voodoo hound fool?
Don't be ridiculous, Mr. Knight. The voodoo churches in the city have no need for secrecy.
Do you really want to know, Epic? Let's just say he's beating his drum.
Do you know...
They did Dr. John a little dirty in the GK1 novelization? Really? Is there a novelization? I had no idea. Word was the biggest pimp on the Enterprise. You mean Worf was the biggest pimp on the Enterprise? Stalio, how you doing? Are you sure? I mean, Data got more than Worf did. You read it recently. Nice. I didn't know there was such a thing.
What do you think of my crocodile mask?
Nice.
That's all he's got to say. Nice.
I'll be going.
Come back again.
Okay. Moonbeam residence. Maybe she knows something more about the Voodoo Home 4.
I had a feeling you'd be back.
Of course she did.
Really?
Please, be seated.
I don't know if I've had this dialogue.
Dr. John tells me you're a voodoo.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we already had that conversation. We did it earlier tonight.
Could I ask...
Voodoo Home 4.
Do you know anything about a secret hound fool?
Voodoo Home 4.
There are many voodoo churches in New Orleans, no?
Yes, but have you heard of a secret voodoo hound fool?
Wherever did you hear such a ridiculous story? There is no such thing.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know anything?
I told you.
They sure are being
Tell me
evasive.
I don't...
So where else can we go?
Well, I guess I'll be gone now.
Do what you will if it harm none.
Count on it.
It's a decent translation, but none of the characters are as charming or funny without the actors' performances. Maybe if there were about 50 more pages of amusing banter. So there's the bookshop, there's the cathedral, police station, Saint Louis Cemetery. Alright, let's see if he can tell us something about this Hound 4.
Could I have a minute of your time?
Yeah? What can I do for you?
Mind if I pick your brain a minute?
Go ahead. These folks ain't in no hurry.
Do you know anything about a secret voodoo hound fool?
I don't know what you talking about.
I kind of expected that answer. Yeah, I didn't know there was a book for it. That's kind of interesting. I wonder, can we?
Using that on the... There's no... Why use the clay there?
I don't
There's
know.
no-
What am I supposed to make
Why
an
you-
impression of? Wait. Wonder how many games have novelizations. Mind if I pick your brain? Who trims and shapes your beard? Yeah. There you go. For one, without Tim Curry and Mark Hamill being so damn entertaining, it's hard to understand why Mosley and Gabriel are still friends. All right, let's go to the crime scene. I have an idea. I could go to the Getty estate. I am going to go to Grandma Knight's house and see if there's new information I can get from her. But we're going to do this first. So,
Using that on the lines wouldn't be helpful.
okay, well, thank you. We've already drawn them?
This is the using
No reason to make a clay impression of that. Is there anything we could... No, I don't really have anything I can make a clay impression of, huh? Okay. Let's see. How many games? I don't have an answer as far as how many games. I know Assassin's Creed has a series of books. I think Dragon Age has books as well. So close to being on the right track. Oh, jeez. Really? I mean, I got the clay from here to begin with. I've already like copied these lines from here.
Gabriel's already done the best he could at
So, if that's what you mean, I've already got those here. But I'm not sure what else to do from there. Let's talk to Grandma Knight.
Gabriel, my love.
My
How
love.
nice to see you.
Nice to see you too, Gran.
Make yourself at home, son.
Isn't it sweet? Nah, you're done with the crime scene. It was the other thing you were talking... Oh! Ooh, okay. Let's see.
Can we talk?
So we do have... Actually, we might have some new dialogue here because I did call Heinz Ritter or Wolfgang. One of the Ritters, I forget. I called one of the guys in Germany. Maybe it was Harrison Knight. I don't remember who. I called somebody in Germany and talked to them a couple of weeks ago. I don't know if I've talked to her since then. I don't remember. But let's ask her about the voodoo hound for.
Do you know anything about a secret voodoo hound fool?
Gabriel, my goodness. What are you up to these days?
Nothing, Gran, really.
Better not be. You know you're the only family I have left.
I know, Gran.
Oh, Wolfgang's the German uncle. Okay. I couldn't remember who it was. I just remember talking to one of them.
Tell me something about...
Your granddad immigrated.
Okay, so we've already gone through that.
Tell me about my father.
Your
Yeah,
father
Philip
was
was
my
his
only child.
father.
Philip.
Tell me about my mother.
Talked about her.
Do you know anything else about Heinz Ritter?
Already talked about
I told you all
him.
I know about your granddad's past.
Maybe it was Wolfgang I haven't talked to her yet about.
Do you know anyone named Wolfgang Ritter?
As I said,
Ah, yep.
your granddad's surname was originally Ritter. I never learned much about his family, But from things he said, I always thought he had a brother back in Germany. I don't know if Wolfgang Ritter is related to your granddad or not.
Do you know anyone named Wolfgang Ritter?
I don't know what else to tell you, dear.
Okay, so nothing more there. We asked her about the Hound Four.
Do you know anything about...
Marie Laveau. Of course! She was that voodoo woman, wasn't she? She preyed on people's fears and superstitions is what I think. There are always those willing to take other people's money for nothing. You stay away from people like that, Gabriel.
Yes, Gran.
Is she from South USA? She certainly is. She sounds more like she's from maybe Alabama or something like that. Not quite Louisiana, but I guess it could be, you know. Alabama, Mississippi, something like that. How you doing, Carver? It's good to see you.
Do you know anything about Veves?
What, dear?
Oh, what, dear?
Never mind. Do you know anything about black voodoo?
Black voodoo? Is that something?
Don't try. Hey, Lady Cat.
I don't think so.
I don't know much about any kind of voodoo, Gabriel.
I mean, she could even kind of lean into Georgia pretty easily, too. It's not that much different. But, at least it's not insulting. She's a nice old lady, right? She's so far like the nicest one that we've talked to, even.
Masks?
Why, no, dear. Do you mean Mardi Gras masks?
Never mind, Gran.
Never mind.
Have you ever heard of a Schottenjäger?
I don't know what else to tell you, dear.
Argothorian? Argorothian, excuse me, I missed that. Jodie Foster has your favorite Southern USA voice, West Virginia and Silence. She does pull that off pretty well. That mid-Atlantic kind of, not really, like she starts to lean into it. She does really well. Hey Rooks, how are you doing? It's good to see you. In A Sea of Jerks, Gran is one of the few sympathetic NPCs. She's like, I'm just here doing my thing. I'm the nice person in the group. I don't have any animosity. She seems to be just as lost about the history of her husband and as everybody else is. So, you know.
Do you know anything about snakes?
Snakes? What kind of snakes, dear?
I don't know. Local kinds?
Well, we used to get cottonmouths in the park when I was a girl, but I haven't heard of one being sighted for years. Milk snakes and garter snakes are also around these parts, but they can't hurt you.
Thanks, Gran.
I mean, they can, but they're not poisonous. It might be painful when they bite you. It's very earnest sounding. Now I want to watch Silence of the Lambs again. It's been so long since I've seen that movie. That's one that I don't get I can't convince people to watch around here too much. It's not quite the same thing they want to watch. I guess we're pretty much done with this. Let's see if we can give her some of this stuff and see if she'll give us some information on it.
Does this mean anything to you, Gran?
Sorry, no, Gabriel.
The only stereotype you know is how quaint. That's all I can sound like when it comes to Southern voice. Or more along the lines of bless your heart. Which is basically screw off, you're an idiot. That's the nice way of saying it.
This is the last page of inventory.
Maybe I don't think she's going to know anything about this. I don't know if I've shown her this or not.
Does this mean anything to you, Gran?
Sorry, no, Gabriel.
You know what I've been doing? I've been showing this stuff to people, and the one thing I haven't been showing them is this book. I have no idea why I have not done it.
Does this mean...
I believe...
You keep it. Yep.
Well, Gran, I better get...
Don't give away all our secrets.
All right, dear.
That's no secret. It's no secret. Not anymore. Oh, yeah, it looks like my internet's going. We'll give it a second. Looks like it's not doing too bad, but it's definitely acting a little bit wonky at the moment. Just me stuttering? No, Orange Comfort. It seems that my internet decided it wanted to act up a little bit. Holy crap!
Awesome.
Dark Mex.
It's a raid from Dark Mex 25. Let's all give them a warm welcome.
Thank you so much for the raid, dude. How are you doing? Welcome in to my stuttering and horrible, as stable as usual buffering. Yeah, I apologize for the internet issue. Hopefully, it'll even itself out here briefly. Let's see, what time is it? It is 7:50. Is there anything that's supposed to be going live on like Netflix or something right now? Is everybody on my street watching the newest release of some show? Bear with us. It'll be back shortly. Nope. People say it's the best Gabriel Knight game. That's the second one. I'm looking forward to doing the second one. I have it. I've got it on GOG.com. I just need to... Or no, I don't have it on GOG.com. I actually have it on Steam. I got it as part of a Humble Bundle years ago. Wow, I can't believe I don't have this on GOG. Holy crap. Dark Mix, how are you doing? Hopefully my internet is stabilized now. If the video is frozen, you're not hearing this message, so I'm going to put it in chat. That's mostly for the people whose video didn't freeze. There you go. That's your message for those who might have gotten a video error. I apologize for that. It happens. Seems short-lived. Hopefully it doesn't come back. Biddo's Internet said, y'all gonna make me lose my mind up in here. Wait a minute. That's... Oh my god. What is that from? I know that. That's, Up in here, and I can't think of it now. God, that's gonna bug me. DMX, is that what it is? Some of it depends on how you feel about the era of FMV and the charm of pixel art of this entry. Might have been, yeah. But I love this part. The funny thing about FMV games is I did not like them back then. I would not mess with them. The closest I got to any of them was like Riven and stuff like that.
Oh, it's you. Miss Giddy is not at home, sir.
At home,
Can you tell
sir.
me where she is? It's very important. She's visiting her mother's grave, Mr. Knight. Something even you can't be tasteless enough to want to interrupt.
I think it's DMX. I could be wrong. You love pixel art. FMV makes you cringe. So this one's the peak of the series for me. Really? Winter Slice, I gotta be honest with you. I didn't like them back in the day. I wouldn't have played them. But I have played so many great FMV games that were more fun now just for the cheese of it. I mean, it's just, oh, wow. I'm going to have to play some more. I mean, one of my favorites with some of the highest production quality you would love. You mean that? I loved Ripper, and I loved the X-Files game. Both of these are amazing games. Control scheme-wise, they suck, but they're great games. Not tasteless enough. Holy crap!
Right fuck off and braille on your forehead? Get out of here.
But yeah, I loved this game. It was so much fun. This is one I'll have to stream again sometime in the near future. Such a fantastic. The puzzles were terrible. Is that Walken? That's Christopher Walken. And that band command that Echo just did was actually a line from Ripper. What do I gotta do? You love FMV games? In this era of pixel, so you love both entries, but not everybody feels that way. I love this game, its artwork, the music, everything about it, except I hate the puzzles. I really don't like the puzzles. Maybe mostly has something. Puzzles are kind of important. I mean, they're important, yeah. Good puzzles are really important. Let's go see about it. Let's check on mostly. Is he ever actually... Oh, what the hell's going on here?
Glad you made it. It'll give you a
Holy crap!
handling suspects, that sort of thing. I'm sure it'll be invigorating. Who is this guy anyway? Calls himself Crash. He's been an informant for us before, mostly helping us bust small-time pimps and dealers trying to break into the territory. Well, he's been staying invisible during these murders, but we picked him up this morning to Jackson Square. Pushing coke? He knows something. Call it detective's instinct. Detective's instinct. Got it. All right, Crash. I want to hear about these murders. You been present at the so-called voodoo ritual?
I don't know nothing. I told you.
Come on now, you can tell me. Do you know anyone who's been to these rituals?
Look,
Not yet.
I can't say nothing. You gotta let me go, man.
Now, you relax. No one knows you're here. The men who picked you up were plainclothesmen.
Plain clothes, like you could fool them. They know I'm here. They've got ears all over the city.
They know everything.
Now, who are they, Crash? Are they the ones doing the murders?
Let me go.
If you're so worried about being detained, start talking. Now, you tell me what I want to hear, and maybe I can get you in the witness protection program. But you have to earn it.
Witness protection? Are you crazy? Don't make me laugh. Jesus, just let me out of here.
Now, come on. Who's behind these murders, Crash? Why are the victims all members of the underworld?
By now they know I'm here. I mean, it's different when I'm supposed to come here. Well, if I can send a message, tell them I didn't say nothing.
Christ, he's frickin' useless. Take him back to detain him, would you, Tony?
Hey, Ray, how you doing?
This, I'd kill for true serve and damn the civil rights. Can I quote you on that? Huh? Hell no. Damn! We only keep him for 24 hours. Tomorrow morning, I might have to let him go. Sorry it wasn't more exciting. For the book I made. Maybe you can punch it up some. You know, what do they call that? Fiction. That's it. It certainly is. I'll see what I can do.
Oh, okay. Well, hey, we got points. Ray, how are you doing? I'm glad to see you here. This one takes some getting used to how you have to trigger events before the timeline moves forward. This and Colonel's Bequest have some similarities in that, at least in that mechanic. And Colonel's Bequest, I love. That is such a great game. It's a game that you can't really, I mean, you can lose, but you can't really screw it up. Like, you're going to get to the end as long as you just go and explore and talk to people. Like, it's just going to happen. And that's kind of where this is. Holy crap! What's that? What's up, Echo? He got eyes everywhere, man. Okay, let's talk to this guy. Progress. Blinking. I like it. 134. We only got like 1 point, but, you know.
Just work.
And
Can I ask you about some stuff?
You're the writer. Ask away.
Oh, yes, I did. You're talking about the kaboom, for sure. Yeah, this was from X-Files. And I thought this was one of the funniest, goofiest moments I think I've ever had in a stream. And it certainly, it's not the highest views for a clip, but it has become a part of the stream. Yep, that was an explanation. Holy crap! I guess I need to load. The smoking man returns. 2 years ago. God, has it really been that long? Has it really been 2 years? Jeez. 2 years. I had no clue. Like, I had no idea that was what was going to happen, and it was it was quite worth it. There was a lot of good moments in that game. The controls sucked. The puzzles could be a bit trolly, but for the most part, the production value for like the videos and everything, I would just watch it. There is another too on the archives, on my YouTube archives, where when we did Klingon, where if you're interested in watching the whole thing, hang on a second here. Let me see if I can get the link to it.
I am making many new friends in Britannia.
Hey, thank you so much for that follow, Hero Protagonist. I like that name, Hero Protagonist. Very nice. All right, here we go. You played Klingon when I was a lad, or rented it from your local library. It's a good game. It's another one that has really rotten controls. There it is. Here you go. This is a link to the full playthrough. I went through and edited it so that it's actually uninterrupted. And is what? It's like an hour and a half long. It's not a very long game. What makes it really long is pretty much just the fact that it's a lot of repeating stuff. So I cut out all the mistakes. 1 hour and 17 minutes. So it's 1 hour 17 minutes long. And I edited it so that it was only the hour and 17 minutes of footage. That's it. But it was really good. And to make it even better, it was directed by Jonathan Frakes. Time flies when pistols are exploding. You're not wrong. Let's see. We've got ads kicking in here in about a minute. I'm just going to sit and chat. I'm not going to get up. All right, let's see. Might have enough time to ask a question or two.
Secret voodoo hound fool.
Hound fool.
Oh, come on. Someone's pulling your leg, Knight.
Are you sure?
There's nothing secret about voodoo in New Orleans. There's a museum, for Christ's sake.
Yeah, but that's the stuff they want you to see.
You're getting mighty paranoid, Knight.
I would say, yeah, that's exactly it. X-Files and Klingon and even Borg all had, high production value because they were tied directly to the studios, and I think they were using a lot of footage and whatnot from the shows, and also were able to get the good actors for it. But X-Files, of course, benefited from having a higher resolution. I can't remember what resolution Klingon originally played at. I'm going to have to look into it. But I know X-Files was at least 640 by 480, but I'm thinking I could even go up higher than that. I'll have to reinstall it. We'll have to play it again soon. Maybe do that as sort of just a fun aside in between RPGs here in the near future. Maybe we'll do a vote and see, what you guys would like to see. Because on Fridays and Sundays, I'll play something like that. And honestly, I wouldn't mind doing Klingon or X-Files again. It was great. Would it be too much of a hint to tell you which location you need to be at? Not yet. Let's see what I can get from him. I'm going to pause for a moment and not actually play the game until these commercials roll through, because they should be kicking in any moment. I hate that it sits here and says ad starting soon. It might take 20 or 30 seconds. But I don't want to get into a dialogue and all of a sudden people miss out on what's going on. Let's see. But talking about FMVs, probably the first game I played with FMV elements when it first came out was actually Lynx. This was a fun little golf game back in the early 90s. And although it has very limited FMV to it, what was that FMV? Night Terror? Oh, I know what you're talking about. It has one of the girls from, I don't know, Different Strokes or something like that in it. And it was one of the two games, Mortal Kombat being the other. Night Trap, that's it. That led to all of the labeling of games, like basically the censorship icons on them. Mature audiences and that kind of stuff. Yeah, it was so confusing. I want to play Night Trap. I never played it. That was one I never played. I remember when it came out, and I remember the controversy. Of course, I played lots of Mortal Kombat. I even have a funny story about Mortal Kombat. It's the only arcade game I ever actually taught myself to play and win. They were always 50 cents in the arcades back in the day. Now I'll tell the story while we're waiting on these commercials. So one of the funny things about Mortal Kombat was I would go to this theater in Marietta every weekend for the most part. I'd even go there during the week sometimes. But a friend of mine worked there. I knew them. I worked at the same chain at another theater further away. So I would go down there and watch movies that we didn't have, and sometimes I would go to the arcade across the way from the theater in the mall and play games until the movie was ready. And of course, Mortal Kombat was all the rage still, and I would go in there and I'd put in my 50 cents, and some jackass, the same guy, would always come up, pop in his 50 cents, and he would say, "Get ready to get kicked off, man." So, "Hey, Montefiore, how you doing?" So I was like, "Come on, just let me finish. I just put in my 50 cents. I know you're gonna win. I don't want to get kicked off, and I don't want to lose my 50 cents. Give me a chance to, get to the third or so character where I know I'm gonna lose. Pop in your 50 cents, and beat me." And basically, what I'm asking you is that gives me an extra round to play. I know I'm gonna lose at this round. Why don't you put in your 50 cents, and we can play together? And kick me off the machine. I'll play another one. So anyway. But he was always a jerk about it. Like he would just come up and intentionally kick me off and then dominate the machine, so I could never do anything, never do anything to learn to play it. Well, the theater I worked at had an arcade right next door, and it aggravated me so much that I ended up going next door to the people who ran that one. And there was a guy there, one of the employees was really good at it. Plus another guy that worked at the theater that I worked at was also really good at it. Both of them, I convinced them to teach me how to play the game. I said, show me all the tricks. So, nights for weeks, I played it. I would go over there and play it for, an hour or whatever. He'd just put it on free play, and we'd sit there and play against each other. I eventually learned to play the game so well that I could beat it consistently with Raiden, Johnny Cage, Liu Kang, and Scorpion, or Sub-Zero, really. I could pretty much dominate the game. No issues. Fatalities, the whole thing. And it was all reflex action. So after I learned to play the game really, really well, and I could win against most of the people that I played at that arcade, I went back to the other arcade, and the guy comes, and I put in my 50 cents. I knew the guy was there. I basically sharked him, and he comes up to the machine, and he's like, "Get ready to get kicked off." I'm like, "Man, don't kick me off. I just put in my 50 cents. I don't want you to lose the whole story, the normal story." And he puts in his 50 cents, and of course, I just let him dominate me like he did the last time we played. And he's like, "Told you, just don't waste your money." Puts in his 50 cents again, or put in my 50 cents again. And I said, I got 50 cents left, and then I'm going to go watch a movie. So he's like, "Oh, you just want to lose it that fast, huh?" So I said, "I guess so." So I let him beat me one more time. Really quickly, I just let him beat me. I barely even tried to really, defend myself. And then the second round comes up, flawless victory. You got lucky. Third round, flawless victory. Man, how'd you do that? puts in his 50 cents again, and then I just flawless victoried him the whole way through until he walked away. I never really played it much after that. I'm like, I got what I wanted out of it. I had fun with the game, but every once in a while I would go up to one in an arcade for a few years after that, and I'd put in 50 cents just to see if I could play it from beginning to end without losing, and I could. Most cases, I could get all the way to the end without ever getting touched. How'd you do that? Yeah. How'd you do that? And I can't do it now. Like, if I tried to play it in DOS, like, I've got Mortal Kombat 1 through 3 in DOS, the originals, and they don't play the same. Of course, I don't have the controls like you had in an arcade. Those controls were just perfectly made for that game because the game was built around that. But I did try to remember how to play the game the way I did. But it's been 25 freaking years since the last time I really played it. More than that, I guess. Probably more like 26, 27, 28 years, something like that. It's been a long time. All right, so let's see. One of the many issues, Night Trap, is that to play the game right, you have to pretty much miss all the fun scenes. Really. It's one of those games that I would love to get a copy of. But they're kind of pricey because of its history. You vividly remember the not-so-good FMV from Lands of Lore 2? Still a good game, though? We're doing Lands of Lore 1. We will be doing Lands of Lore 2. I won't say really soon, but it's definitely coming soon. Bito Hustler. That was my only hustle. I'm not joking. That's the only hustle I had. But yeah, we're going to do this. I can't wait. I love Lands of Lore. It's been one of my favorites. Night Trap. Bito Shark. That's my only shark moment. It's the only thing I could shark anybody on. I didn't even bet the guy. I should have bet him. I should have been like, you know what? I bet you I can get a flawless victory on you. I bet you $10 I can get a flawless victory on you. And he probably would have taken it. Because as far as he knew, I sucked at the game at that point. Like, I was the worst player in the world. Night Trap had a lot of great scenes, but watching them cause you to lose the game. Remind me to never play against him at pool. I couldn't play. I suck at pool. I have the worst, like... If it wasn't for the fact that we put so many hours into golf with your friends, and we've learned all of, like, a lot of the hole-in-one tricks for several of the courses over the many Friday nights that we played the game, I would suck at golf. Because as much like pool, you have to really have a good visual for geometry, and I have horrible visual for geometry. Like, I couldn't. I'm like, oh yeah, if I hit it that way, it's gonna bang. I go right into it, and then I hit it, and it's like goes off in the other direction. I'm like, okay, I have no idea about the idea of physics. I don't understand that at all. I have no. Yeah, that's the word, spatial. I'm not spatial. I totally didn't do that in a southern accent. Let's see. Where are we?
Do you know anything?
Disc is spinning up.
About animal masks? Animal masks? I don't think so. More like never ran.
I think we've already had that conversation. Of course you're spatial. Oh, wait. Special, not spatial.
Do you know anything about black voodoo?
Black voodoo? Sounds like a put on to me.
Well, thank you, Lady Cat. I appreciate it. I think.
Do you know
black voodoo?
Okay, we've already had that conversation with him.
Not since
And you have to say, yes, sir. Believe it or not, that is true. Yes, Coburn. If your family has been here for at least a couple of generations, almost certainly you have been instilled in you to yes, sir, yes, ma'am. Of course, that's probably true in other places of the country, too. Well, politeness is a thing, but it's that subtle, patronizing politeness. Kind of like the bless your heart thing. The spatial is special in Alabama, exactly. But no, it really is. The yes or yes ma'am thing. All right. What else have we? Have I did? I don't know anything. Veves.
What? Veves. They're ritualistic patterns used in voodoo. You know, like those marks we found around the body.
You know what the department says about that, Knight. that voodoo stuff is faked.
Yeah, well, they're wrong.
Hey,
Just
Salt,
stop worrying
100,
about
well
them
bless
marks.
your
I
heart.
don't think they're relevant.
Phalanges, welcome in. What a great way to say hello. Thank you for the 100 bits. Bless your heart. I need to change that to. There should be a TTS with like a southern accent. It's impossible to make stereotypes in California. It's too normal and plain for you to think of one. Unless you get further north, and then you can get into some rural parts of California that make you wonder where in the country you've wandered. But yeah, for the most part, especially in the southern part. Southern? God, is that even a word? Southern part, the southeastern part, I think is what I was trying to say. Bebes. Of course there is. And everything with the word dude. Yeah. Do you know anything about memes? Radical dude. I mean, there is your accent, but that's kind of limited. Let's see, where was I? There was something else. It don't mean a thing if it ain't got that twang. But there are some stereotypes. Valley girl. Valley girl. Hey, how's it going, Kira? Is it Friday? I wish. Kira, although I really wish it was Friday morning because I'd be playing Lands of Lore and possibly whatever new game I'm going to reveal at that time. I haven't fully decided yet. It's just a first-person shooter. Speaking of Southern people, I still listen to Roy D. Mercer radio pranks. Oh my God, what is that? That one is true, yeah. That is very much a stereotype, and it is very limited to just that region of California. Like, oh my God. Let's see. What else are we doing here? Let's exit. We'll show him a few things. See if he's going to tell us a little bit.
I have this.
That's nice, but I'm busy
Gag me with a
real
spoon.
investigation tonight.
How about if I give him this mask?
I have this.
That's nice, but I'm busy.
Gabriel doesn't want to put the mask on until he has to.
So, like, I play a game and whatever. It hurts me to say that imitation. Oh, you're... I can't do it quite right. That's as close as I'm going to get. People call in and ask them to prank a friend. They extend that that the radio ends up in a fight. Oh, what is this, like Jerry Springer on the radio? Your sister said that one time in front of your mom, who then promptly wrestled her to the ground and started gagging her with a spoon. Wait, what? Oh my God. I'll gag you with a spoon. Don't you ever say that again. Listen to them. Roy D. Mercer radio pranks, huh? Is that on YouTube? This was the 80s, yeah. Back when, like, Google... Oh, okay. Bowling ball fungus. What? Hang on a second. Oh, not that. Nope, she did it quietly, but determinedly. I wonder, I don't know. There's not like, okay.
Good morning.
I need to speak with Asta Evans.
This is she.
Miss Evans, listen, my name is Roy D. Mercer. I was referred to y'all. I had a problem with one of y'all's pagers you sold.
I'm going to have to watch it. I'm going to have to listen to this. Listen to it later, yeah. Bowling ball fungus. I'm going to have to look. Yeah, I'm going to have to save these. Definitely want to check those out. That's great. My mama wasn't having it. No, no, sir. No, sir. I can only imagine, actually. It's crazy how, it's crazy how sometimes parents can really kind of go off the rails on certain things.
I found these strange symbols on Marie Laveau's tomb at St. Louis Cemetery number 1.
I'm sure any extra voodoo stuff you dig up will make an interesting story tonight, but I'd rather stick with the case at hand, personally.
So he's not going to give me any details on that. All right. We're going to come back and ask him about the case status and things like that here in a second.
This is the
And I think that's what's up next, because we've pretty much covered all of that. So let's ask him some questions again.
Can I ask you about some stuff?
You're the writer. Ask away.
The ball fungus is Roy D. Mercer calling a bowling ball alley, accusing them of that their ball gave his son finger fungus. I don't understand how people come up with stuff like that. Don't feel bad for sis. She challenge authority. It reminds me, and hopefully this doesn't rub anybody the wrong way, given his recent history. But he was funny before all of that. He really was. But it reminds me of a Bill Cosby story that he told back in the '60s on one of his albums. He was talking about his brother, Russell. And his brother Russell was younger than him. And he said, and I don't know how old he was, but I kind of got the impression he's probably 7 or so, something like that. And Dad was always really, he was pretty strict. And, when they would sit down to eat dinner, they weren't supposed to really talk, but, or really have a whole lot of conversation. It was just eat, do your thing, and you leave. And he said one day they were sitting at the table and his brother Russell looks over at his dad and he's like, Dad's so funny. And he starts laughing at his dad. And Bill Cosby says, I leaned over and I told Russell, I said, man, you better stop. Dad's going to get mad at you. You better stop. And he's like, he's so funny. And he just kept laughing. And he said the next thing he knows is he saw his dad's hand flash across the table. And he looked over at his brother Russell and his face was gone. It was on the floor. The mouth was still moving like he was laughing, but his face was on the floor. Knocked it completely off his head. I always feel Hank Hill could be a Kingdom Hearts character now since Disney owns Fox. Oh my God. I could believe that.
What's the status on the voodoo murders case?
Status?
It sure as hell ain't going well. There's a lot of brakes being applied in different areas of the investigation. We're getting some real info on the victims now, and they're not exactly upstanding citizens. I was hoping to get more out of Crash, but he's scared shitless. We'll have to let him go tomorrow morning.
Slap the taste right out your mouth. Yeah. Princess Hill. There you go. There you go. Princess Hill. They could do it. I mean, of all the purchases Disney made, Star Wars was, strangely enough to say this, one of the most intelligent purchases Disney made. Now, I'm not going to comment on how they've handled the franchise since then, but ultimately it was one of the smartest because it has all of the elements of Disney movies. Like the consistency of it. There's a princess to save. There's a kingdom, or in this case, an empire. There's an evil one, all of that. There's even magic and, bad guys, the whole thing. It's just like, it was Disney. I mean, it really was Disney. Suddenly everybody in my channel disappears. I'm just kidding. I don't know what else to ask him at this point. I think I've covered just about everything I can. He's not going to give me any details about the markings around the body. He seems to kind of be disregarding what's the drawings around the body. He's obviously aware of this. See what he thinks about the snake skin.
I have this.
That's nice, but I'm busy with the real investigation tonight.
You're half innocent, half squid. You're an innocent half squid, half cat. That's an interesting combination, Kira. Oh, playing Guild Wars. I've been wanting to play that again. I would love to go through the original Guild Wars as it originally was. I never finished it. I played through almost the entire campaign, got into the last few areas and couldn't finish. You're playing Nightfall now. Nice. I haven't played Nightfall. I didn't do any of the expansions. I didn't do Guild Wars 2.
I'll be seeing you
later, Knight.
Never played the second one. I want to say I installed it, but I never really got into it. Like, I didn't actually get into playing it. I just installed it and then was like, eh.
I'll have 2 number 9s, a number 9 large, a number 6 extra dip, a number 7, 2 number 45s, 1 with cheese, and a large soda.
You got the you're gonna get some rest and relaxation for tomorrow. Got the day off from work. Nice. Reg, I haven't seen Baines lately. I was thinking about that Sunday. I didn't see him. I don't remember seeing him Friday, and I know I didn't see him Sunday. I hope he's okay. He's been a little bit more absent lately in general, so hopefully everything's all right with him. Unless he's changed his name to something that didn't include Baines in it, in which case I wouldn't pick up on him. Crudus snuck in with Cybertrucker Crudus and confused me, making me think it was Cybertrucker Alpha, and I kept mistakenly calling him Cybertrucker Alpha. I'm like, dude, why are you doing that to me? Or Hamish, yeah. You're on vacation till Tuesday. God, man, lucky you. I had my own a couple of weeks ago, right? And, well, a few weeks ago now, I guess, because it was May 1st at the time. Let's see. I got another one coming up here mid-June, because that's our anniversary. When is the 15th of June? What day is that? Is that a Wednesday? Christian Bale freak out would have been more convincing John Connor in Terminator Salvation than his finished work in your view. Would have been a more convincing John Connor in Terminator Salvation. You know what? I could see that, actually. Yep. So yeah, I've got oh man, I can't wait. 1, 2. In just under 3 weeks, I'll be on some vacation days again. So what's the story so far in Gabriel Knight? All right, so the crux of this is Gabriel Knight is an author. He owns a bookstore, the St. George's Bookshop, and he's writing a novel about voodoo. So he's running around asking people about voodoo. Well, during his quest of learning about voodoo murders start happening. His best friend since high school, Mosley, is a police detective who's involved in that particular case, or set of cases, I guess, the voodoo murders case. And at this point, that's pretty much it, short of giving away details of the actual story, like, actual spoilers. Still have 215 hours of vacation available. So imagine how often I get to do vacations. I've got, oh God, I don't know how many hours I have. I pre-assign mine every year. And so, for example, in April I had a week off. In May I had a week off. Or no, March I had a week off. I skipped April. May I had a week off. I got a week off next month. And then a week off in July. Almost 2 weeks. So, and then I've still got other time that I assigned. I'd have to go and look on my calendar. But I've probably got about 200 or so hours myself. I've been there for 15 years. I'm maxed out on my PTO time. It takes a while to go through it all. But I try to save about a week's worth of days towards the end of the year, in case I have I just need a day off. Like, I'm sorry, I'm sick. Not really. I don't do that. It really is not what I do. You just went back home for the weekend, last weekend before the weather got gross. I'll be honest, the best thing you can do with a vacation day or a couple of vacation days, take 2 or 3 days off and just do nothing. I mean, do your basic daily routines. Like if you go and work out, go work out. Go walk in the park. Go find, a nice, what am I trying to think of? Like a national, if you're in the U.S., we have national parks and we have some state parks and even city parks. But some of them can be just hiking in the woods. Yeah. Go find love. Well, I'm married. I found that a long time ago. And she can go with me, of course. But no, you just go hiking somewhere. Go walk in the woods. Be safe when you do it, of course. Enjoy your time out. Go find booty. We go find booty. Just play some Tropico. Play games. Watch movies. I mean, whatever. To me, I would be happy to take a couple of days off and just sit down and spend an entire day just doing nothing but watching movies. I'd be fine with that. And I'd find that quite relaxing. I might get up and, take an hour or two break and go do something else, like maybe go and get something to eat, for lunch, or run to the store and just kind of stretch my legs. But I'm going to spend the rest of the day watching movies. And when you have gotten all 326 routes of Shadow the Hedgehog, then get Disney Plus, relax, and eat healthy and do what you like. Yeah. Speaking of Tropico, which was your absolute favorite? Just say the number. 2. 2 is my favorite. 100%. No question about it. 3 and 4 were good. I enjoyed them. I would say a very close favorites, but 2 is my favorite. You're going to go shopping for groceries. I miss shopping. Yeah. So what's my thoughts on 5? I think 5 was good. I really do. I think once 4 happened, they didn't really innovate as much in 5 and 6. 6, they introduced bridges and things like that, which I thought was really cool because that was something I wish they had done a long time ago. But I wouldn't necessarily call that extremely innovative. I think that was just a necessary advancement to the game itself. So 5 is really good, but I think it's just an improvement over 4. Where are we going next? Maybe Sam knows something about Voodoo Hound 4. Was Gabriel Knight so long... Say what? Was Gabriel Knight so long till 5? Not sure I understand the question.
Can I ask you some questions now?
Look, I'd be glad to help you out, but I've been stuck in this bot too long to know much about anything.
He just doesn't want to talk to me at all.
Can I ask you some questions? Right. Sorry.
The only one that wants to talk to me is a bartender.
Can I ask you a few questions?
Sure.
Can you tell me anything about a secret voodoo hound fool?
Oh, did it have 5 sequels? Gotcha.
Around here? Hope they aren't serving drinks.
Well, if they are, I don't think anyone in his right mind would want one.
Gabriel Knight had 3 games that I'm aware of. 4 if you include the remake of the first one. No, I could be wrong, but those I only know of 3 in the original series. Tropico had 6 total, because you had Tropico 1. Well, you had Tropico 2, which was Pirate Cove. All the rest were just Tropico with a number, like 1, 3, 5, 4, 5, and 6. Yeah, I don't think there was a 4th one. I know the 3rd one was a bit sketchy, and it's the one in the series that people have the hardest time running, but also at the same time say is a little bit more trolly. And the President, yeah. And the Presidente, yes, and not a pirate lord.
Can you tell me...
Are you kidding? Around here?
Well, do you know...
Never heard.
Do you know anything about black voodoo?
Black voodoo? Nah. I prefer not to think about that kind of stuff personally. Crime, perversion, weirdos. Just makes me depressed.
Is El Presidente Bill Clinton? No.
Have you
never heard of?
What?
That's about.
Do you know?
Come.
All right. So if I show him some of this stuff, does it matter?
Does this mean anything to you?
Can't say that it does.
And I got to tell you, Dr. CDCS playing
Does this mean anything to you?
Stronghold lately really makes me want to play it.
You wear that in here, people liable to stop drinking.
Oh, yeah, we already asked him about that, didn't we?
Does this mean anything?
Can't say that.
Does this?
I don't really expect them to actually respond to that. I'm just curious to see if I get if I'm wrong.
Does this?
Can't say.
So that doesn't mean anything to either of them. Okay. So out the door we go. You caught some of the Stronghold stream last night. I love Stronghold. I originally bought it in a bargain bin back in like 2003. Got a cat hair lingering on my microphone. Back in like 2003, and it had been out for a couple of years, I think, at that point. And I enjoyed it tremendously. It's so goofy, like the little videos in between when you're doing the campaign, the little videos in between each campaign mission. And I love the way they did the hints and suggestions. You could outright get direct hints to the game in the beginning of the mission itself. The little videos were just kind of cute and stupid. It was just a fun game. And the original, not the HD version, but the original is not nearly as hard as the HD version. I haven't watched Doc play it yet because when he's streaming it, I'm not able to watch. This is time frame, unfortunately, but I should go back and watch the VODs. I'm wondering if he's really struggling through some of those missions. There's one in particular that is very, very hard. And I always had problems with the original release of the game on that particular one, but I could get through it. Usually with 2 or 3 tries. On the HD version, I can never beat it. I've never even heard of Metal Wolf Chaos. What is that? Let's go to Jackson Square. We haven't been here in a while. Maybe something different is happening. Also need to go to the Overlook and look down on Jackson Square. Why is Gandalf playing a drum? Sort of a mech action game, but huge satire on American president stuff. Oh, that'd be pretty funny. An insanely random game. Oh, who's this lady?
Madame Lorelei, the fortune teller, is garbed in a belly dancer's outfit and wears a boa around her neck. A real boa.
Not a feather boa, but a boa constrictor boa.
Come on, boys. Hoopla.
A hoopla? You don't say. What in the... Oh. Okay, so... I don't understand. Oh my god.
Gabriel doesn't want to take that. Madame Lorelei would not. The booth is a colorful melange. It announces the owner as Madame Lorelei and gives prices for palm reading, $20, crystal ball gazing, $15, and birth charts, $50. The owner is currently plying a different sort of wares, however.
It was developed originally in Japan for Xbox in 2004. You think to attract Japanese players to it, it has cult following to say the least. Basically, you have president fighting the vice president or something. It's insanely funny. That's pretty funny. The old D&D Stronghold game is a really great experience if you've not played it. I haven't played that. I'm not sure I knew about that one, actually. But the one we are talking about... This actually is a collection I got separately that includes the original, the DRM-free version of it. If you buy it like on Steam right now, the HD collection is what you get. This actually has the original Stronghold, all the original Strongholds actually, up to this point. I got this, I don't know, 15 years ago or maybe a little less than. But yeah, this is great. It's a great series. Great series. She sounds... Yes, she does, doesn't she? I noticed that, Sir Citizen. Mardi Gras must have come early for Biddo this year. Wait, what? What are you talking about?
Thanks, boys.
Thanks, boys. What are you thanking me for? Let's see. Can you talk to me, lady? Talk to me.
Could I ask you a few questions, Madame Lorelei?
The only answers I give are given in my reading. I'm sure your poem would be quite interesting.
A cool city builder. Hang on a second. It sounds vaguely familiar, but I don't know if I'm even aware of it or not. Let's see if I can... Wait, I just did something wrong. Hang on a second. Let's see. Hey, lady, lay off my palm. They're a really cool builder with D&D rules. Old D&D rules. Kingdom Simulator. Oh, I don't have this one. Okay. This came out, what? Looks like 93. So same time this game came out. Yeah. Looks like this is what you're talking about. Yep. That's it. That's the one. Now, the fun thing is Metal Wolf Chaos XD plotline is during 47th President, so the question is, will that prophecy be fulfilled? Oh, God. But this should be interesting. In this remarkable kingdom simulator, your goal is to become emperor by building and expanding your stronghold in competition against opposing computer-controlled kingdoms. Interesting. Well, you know what? Wishlisted. Maybe at some point, if they put these on sale, or if there's some big deal with the D&D titles, I'll see if I can get a license, or a key for that, excuse me, and we'll stream that. Might start it on GOG and maybe bring it over here. That'd be a fun one. Interesting. U.S. President versus VP story arc would have been far-fetched back in 2004. I don't know. I mean, you know, Bush's era was a little controversial. Not nearly as controversial as recent ones, but, you know, definitely controversial. Wasn't MWC around before the U.S. of A had its current dilemma dealing with people not respecting the will of the voters? MWC? I'm not sure I know what MWC was. Narrator, Gabriel doesn't know barbecue sauce from a hole in the ground. Dick Danza, you are not right. Oh, MWC, Metal Wolf Chaos. I don't know the game very well, so it didn't click on me on that one. Let's see.
Does this mean anything to you?
No. Does this price list mean anything to you?
I like her answer. That was good. So, how... let's see.
That's a nice snake you have there.
I could say the same of you.
Well, I know where I got mine. Where'd you get yours?
That's personal.
Oh my God.
Come on, boys. Hoopla.
Oh my God. That was great. Hey, Glitchy, how you doing? Off color. It was quite funny, though. I don't know what is going on. What has got... It's like something in my eyes driving me nuts. All right, lady, stop dancing. Oh, my gosh. She's not dancing. She's like hovering above the ground and swinging around like she's in a dust devil. She looks like she's in a Devo video.
Thanks, boys.
A whirling dervish. Let's see.
I'd really like to know more about that snake.
Sorry, sweetie, but I don't discuss Elvis with anyone.
Of course, I have to have internet flake. Oh, good God, lady, would you stop dancing? I'm trying to have a conversation with you here. She doesn't normally move this fast. No, it's I'm playing it on a Pentium 2 333, so it kind of happens. Elvis. She named her snake Elvis. The music is the theme for this. If it wasn't on a Pentium 230, yeah, you'd be here forever, right? Her dance foot is going nuts. I do have it sped up a little bit, too.
Great hat, man.
Reg! 80s mullet, Steve Bitterman Perry. I don't have a mullet, though. Yeah, I don't have a mullet. You got another suggestion? The only one with that much Elvis references this is Lilo and Stitch. Oh, the 80s. Okay. That works. No Billy Ray Cyrus here. You have the classic Picard crown. I can take that. I can live with that. Yeah, but I do have it sped up. Where was this? Yeah. Where was the speed up? I know I had it on here. Detail text narrator. Where was the... It's usually in the settings. Oh, I bet I can't change it because she's moving around. Joe Dirt had the best mullet. True. He really did.
Thanks, boys.
It was. The mullet was really popular in the 80s, Reg. Probably early 90s as well. Still kind of popular in the up to the mid 90s, and then it started to kind of fall out of favor. It might have been because of Billy Ray Cyrus, but you know. Oh, there it is. Yeah, see, I've got it sped way up too. Mostly just to keep him from wandering. So, but yeah, the Pentium 333 will do that. The Mullish Ape Trip Hockey Hair. Ape Drape, yeah.
How about a reading?
The prices are listed on the sign.
They seem a little steep.
Well, I sometimes do my intimate friends for nothing. But I am a businesswoman.
Oh my God.
I'm sure you are.
That right there, oh my God.
Come on, boys.
Hoopla! I've got some sound commands that need to happen off that. Let's see, what is this? Oh yeah.
Remember, the goal is the castle.
Really?
The castle.
Oh, I goofed.
Remember, the goal is the castle. Get to the castle. Who wants to go first?
That was pretty good, man. Who wants to go first?
Thanks, boys.
The mullet sorry speech to text suck. Oh God. It would would make it better if her name is Martha too. Joey from Full House hair. Joey's and God, I just watched Full House the other day and I can't think of his name. The other roommate. What's the other roommate? Joey and John Stamos' character. I can't think of his name. Jesse, yeah. That's it. Echo, yes, there you go. That's it.
Come on, boys.
Hoopla! Hoopla! So Jesse was proud of his mullet. He got rid of it later on in the series. and it was a little more laid back, I guess. Boy Meets World probably is one Disney show that's stuck with you due to how legit good the storyline could get in that TV series. There's a lot of shows that were like that weren't necessarily like shows that everybody would say, oh, that was a fantastic show, I want to watch that again. But then when you go back and watch it, you're like, hey, these actually have some pretty good stories to them. And it's like, but now I'm too old to really be proud to watch that. Let's see, is she going to hoopla on me again?
Could you just do a short reading for an intimate friend?
Darling, you toy with me. If I thought you were serious. But no, I must stay firm.
How's business?
How's business? I have no time for such dull conversation, darling. Come on, boys. Hoopla.
She just shoves the snake into the into Lucy's little kiosk. You love seeing Alf or Knight Rider. Yes, they are short and cringe, but they're so cool to rewatch. I watched the entire Knight Rider series last year. I hadn't seen really hardly any of the shows since they were first run when I was a kid. And I didn't even get to watch it that much because it came on I want to say like Thursdays or something like that. Thursdays or Fridays. It might have been Fridays, actually. And I was not able to watch TV at the time. I was always doing something at that time. So anyway, we watched it all. It was on Netflix. We watched all of it plus Knight Rider, the TV movie that they did shortly after the series ended. And yes, it's the series. The first couple of seasons was really a lot of fun to watch and good. And then the writing just starts to just dip. And then by the time it gets to the last couple of seasons, it just tanks. And you're like, oh my God, these are awful. Germans love David Hasselhoff. And, you know, especially his albums. Europeans in general, apparently, from what I've heard. But he did his first album while he was filming Knight Rider. And apparently it did not sell well at all in the U.S., but sold very well in Europe. And some of the songs, including his wife, actually were in some of the Knight Rider episodes. Yeah, that's the guy from Baywatch, the original Baywatch. Come on, boys, hoopla. He sang at the fall of the Berlin Wall in 1989 wearing a jacket covered in lights. I'd believe it. Yeah, from Baywatch and Baywatch Nights. That's it. That's him. Not that I ever really watched Baywatch, but I knew that he was in it, along with Pamela Anderson, at least, at some point. Speaking of which, any bets on who's coming out on top of the dog pile that is the Screenwriters Guild strike going on right now? Reg, my thing, I don't know. My biggest fear, just based on what I see in the way a lot of businesses want to manage people right now, is that any opportunity that a business has to not pay people and still produce is going to be the way they go. And right now they seem to be very willing to make some pretty stupid decisions. Hang on just a second. I'm sorry. You going to bed? Okay. Hang on just a second. I'm sorry. Sorry about that. My fear is that the writers that they will lose a lot of good writers because I don't think they're going to give in as much as most of them want them to, and they'll start outsourcing to, well, whatever they can, whether AI gets involved or whatever. It's been so long since that happened. You don't remember? Yeah, you thought it happened during... It's happened many times. It's happened quite a few times. For example, was it season 2 of Star Trek Next Generation? One of the seasons of Star Trek Next Generation was shortened by like 3 or 4 episodes, because the writer's strike happened, and they had to use some old scripts from the original Star Trek that Roddenberry modified so that they could utilize them in Next Generation just to get episodes filmed. It was actually too short a season for the season. Oh, it was actually called too short a season for the season. Yeah. 2008 strike canceled Heroes. Yeah, and that happens too. Sometimes it cancels shows because they can't get enough and they end up just losing the slot. But due to bots and AI, I just avoid comment sections on YouTube and places. I just have this typical feeling of the internet is mainly not real, but people are. It's hard to tell sometimes who is and who isn't. Yeah, Hal Kraus, how you doing? This is screwing all the music industry, though. Animation also a lot. Yeah, I mean, it's a general writer strike. It's not just TV. But a lot of those were not, because they're all in the same guild. It's just laying people off like crazy. You got to go with what's real. Gabriel, what are the humans doing down there? The angel replies, it seems that they are drinking milk, Lord. What sort of milk? Asked God. He gave them many animals to drink milk from. The cows, the goats, almonds, Lord. That Heroes was an amazing series. Save the cheerleader, save the world. The industry was already bad, and now it just added to the pile of crap. It's you're not wrong. Yeah, it really is. You're actually a bot, but no one believes me. Very convincing if you're a bot. All right, so each one of these points at a different quarter of the Jackson Square down there, as far as I can tell. Beep boop bot. I'm not real. I'm actually just AI generated, I'm just kidding. I really don't know what the purpose of this is. Select all the images that contain Gabriel Knight. What is this? The angel Gabriel appeared to Mary and said, "Do not be afraid, Mary. You have found favor with God. You will conceive and give birth to his son, and you are to call him Jesus. He will be great and will be called the Son of the Most High." Mary, I have a boyfriend. Have you been to New Orleans? Have you been to New Orleans? Does the game look like the real place? I have never actually been to New Orleans, but I've driven past it many times. No, I've never been there. I used to live in Houston, Texas many, many, many years ago, and I never once actually went to New Orleans, and it's not that far away. New Orleans. I don't even use smartphone. Button phones is all I need. Nokia for life. Pie, you have a good night. It's super late where you are. Get some rest, man. Hopefully you slept better recently. I know you were talking about how you didn't sleep well. Was it Friday night or something like that? But, yeah, get some rest. Thank you for being here, sir. And thank you for all you do. You had a BlackBerry Pearl? Best cell phone in your life. We can go to the cathedral. We'll try. All right. Let's see if we can get a confession going again.
May I help you, my child? I'd like to make a confession. All right, if it will make you feel better. I think I just need an overall apology to the universe. I see. Apology noted. Thanks, Father. Is there anything else? Nope. Goodbye.
Okay. I've never found anything in here. Oh, I didn't realize I could make him kneel.
There's a knothole about the size of a quarter in the wood paneling on that wall.
Okay. Problem with Sierra games is that every time you activate something new, you have to interact with all the PCs to learn something. If the event doesn't happen, the dialogue doesn't change. Yeah, that is one of the drawbacks to most of these.
Gabriel can... The knothole is part of the paneling.
So, wait a minute. There's a knothole in the paneling. You tried smartphone that you borrowed for a year and just hated it? No buttons, inbuilt battery that's designed to be hard to change, vibrates for everything, news and stuff I didn't ask for. But I just feel it can do stuff on a PC the phone can't replicate. And even then I want my buttons. I usually prefer the physical buttons too, but I got used to it well enough anyway. If you don't keep notes on what everyone knows, you've got nothing. You got to go through circles to get everything done. Sierra, talk to everyone in every scene over and over and over again. Yeah. And that's why I'm still stuck on day 3 at this point. And I've 6 streams of this. It's such a lousy playthrough for me. I'm normally not this terrible with these games.
The knothole.
So there is a knothole here.
The knothole.
What about this?
The confessional is about the size of a closet.
So there's something about that knothole
Gabriel can...
that appears to be useful.
Gabriel cannot see...
Why not take next Tuesday off from GK and stream some Peggle? I could do that. I've got Peggle. I got lots of them. I even have the Team Fortress 2 subscribers. Use your Twitch Prime now. Picking this game up the next day is a pain, especially when you skip a week, and you're only playing it once a week to begin with. It's very difficult. All right, so if I exit, what about the other confessional cabinet? Is that one also got a knothole?
The confessional is a...
May I help you, my child? Could you give me a blessing? Would that comfort you, son? It couldn't hurt. Very well.
The priest blesses Gabriel through the confessional window.
Peace be with you, son. Thank you, Father.
I keep not noticing when I can interact with stuff while cut-ins or animations are playing. I am struggling to capture those. Sometimes I notice them, but it's not often. And I don't really understand why.
There's a small shelf under the mesh. The shelf...
Another oldie but goodie. Oh wait, you felt the entire Carandia series to have the same problem.
May I help you, my child?
Even though you don't believe that Sierra.
No, thank you. As you wish.
But you couldn't solve
Please
a lot of the
feel free
puzzles.
to stay.
Yeah. So what's the deal?
The knothole doesn't... That doesn't...
So what's the deal with this knothole? Is there something... I guess there's something I can... Wait. What about this? Can I do something with the clay on the knothole?
Gabriel cannot see a way. Gabriel isn't the Gabriel can.
I just realized ads are kicking through, and it's also coming close to the time we need to end. So, tell you what I'm going to do. I am a bit stuck at the moment. I'm not sure what to do next, but I am pretty much at the end of my stream. I've been up since about 5:30 this morning, and of course we're in the middle of ads. That sucks. But here's what I will do. Let me save. Oh, you know what? Carandia was Westwood, like Lands of Lore. There we go. Day 3 stuck. All right. Ran out of save slots. I didn't want to overwrite. All right. And we'll go ahead and exit.